Here at the Priestfield, we're getting ready for kick-off. Only 2 or 3 minutes before the players will emerge from the tunnel down to our right-hand side. Gillingham know their place in the sense of the pecking order. They know they've got a very difficult task on their hands this evening. But we mentioned in our introduction, they won at Brentford last year, got all the way to round 3, bloodied the nose of Thomas Frankside at Brentford, which was no mean feat.
Look, it's a great opportunity for them. I've been in the position, they're a League 2 team. I've been in League 1 playing a team that are in a division higher or 2 divisions higher, and it's a great chance to test yourself against better players. You as an individual, what is your performance going to be like? How can you cope at this level? And I think it's a great test for some of these young Gillingham players. It's a really good gauge for them to see what they've got to do, how they can improve, what level they've got to get to for them to improve their game, and then for them to climb the ladder as well. So I always felt a great chance for teams down the divisions to play against a team higher up the league and higher up the pecking order.
I mean, they don't have Sean Williams in the squad tonight, who is a bit of a veteran. I always loved watching him play at Millwall. I think was a very classy
club skipper as well
operator,
now, isn't he? Yeah,
operator at the base of midfield. Here come the teams, incidentally, from that corner down to our right-hand side. Gillingham in their graded white into blue shirts, white shorts and socks. And you were telling me about the Southampton third kit that they're wearing this evening, Matt Holland, that's based on something to do with the New Forest.
It's the New Forest inspired black third kit, and it's making its debut tonight. It's quite smart, isn't it?
It is quite smart. Little bit of flecks of yellow on the shoulders, but black shirts with grey shorts, again with flecks of yellow and black socks. Shay Adams, the skipper of Southampton this evening. Max Amer, the big German, he skippers Gillingham, and they're just lining up with our referee, Mr. Carl Brook, and his assistants, Stephen Pinch and Sean Farrer, as they line up in front of us. Filling up nicely at the Priestfield, and a very healthy contingent of Southampton fans, not just in the bottom tier of the Brian Moore stand away to our right, but there are a few that are being housed in the Medway stand directly opposite us. But the Rainer men's looking respectably full as well. I don't think they've had problems getting fan engagement here. I think that's one of the hallmarks of this new ownership, Matt. They've really engaged with the community, and I think a few lapsed fans have definitely made their return to this part of Kent.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, social media's been a big part of what the new owners has done, and really tried to engage with the community. And you're right, it's a really healthy crowd. I think Southampton have sold their end out, actually.
Yes.
So yeah, fantastic atmosphere. Great night for cup football. It's not too hot. We haven't had much of a summer, have we? I mean, we're in August now, isn't it?
Over summer.
We've got coats on. Wait, what are we going to be wearing in January? My goodness.
I would never normally get the slightly thicker pair of socks out of the wardrobe, but I did this morning just in case, and I'm wearing my big boots that I normally save until the clocks go back.
I've not quite gone down the thermal route, but this is not good. This is not good.
Well, if you're wearing thermals even in August, then you've got a problem. But no, thick pair of socks will do me for tonight. You don't want to feel it in your feet more than anywhere else, do you?
No, definitely not.
Now these players will be running around, they won't get cold feet, none of them. Let's run you through the lineups once again. Gillingham against Southampton. Gillingham, Glenn Morris in goal. Looks to be a back five of Che Alexander, Max Amer, Robbie McKenzie, Shadrach Oji and Max Clark. There are 2 Clarks out there for Gillingham. Jaden Clark is the other one in midfield, with George Lapsley, Ethan Coleman, Dom Jeffries and Ashley Nadazan up front. For Southampton, Alex McCarthy in goal. James Bree, Leanco, Roman Perrault and Jada Meg Homer making his first appearance for Southampton at left back. More about him in a moment. Shay Charles recently arrived from Manchester City in midfield, along with Stuart Armstrong, Moussa Ginepo and Samuel Amo Amayor, who's making his first start for Southampton tonight. He got a few brief minutes in the league at Liverpool right at the end of last season in the Premier League. And Shay Adams and Sekou Mara are the front 2 for the Saints. On the bench for Gillingham, Jake Turner, the sub-keeper, along with Johnny Williams, Tom Nichols, Scott Malone, Joe Gabodic, Josh Chambers and Sam Gale. The Southampton bench, Joe Lumley, Jack Stevens, Joe Aribo, Paul Onuachu, Carlos Alcaraz, Samuel Edozie, Kamari Doyle and Tyler J. Dibbling from the academy, and Dominic Ballard. Southampton naming more substitutes than Gillingham just because they can. I guess the resources just don't stretch that far in this particular part of the world. Right, looks like Gillingham will be kicking off, and they'll be heading towards the Brian Moore stand to our right hand side. Myself and Matt and our producer Declan, we're sat almost right at the back of the main stand here, the two-tier main stand at Priestfield. So the Rainham end, where the most vociferous Gillingham support resides, that's to our immediate left, and our commentary positions just inside the Southampton half of the field. So we're slightly closer to the Brian Moore end than we are to the Rainham. Referee takes one last look around, make sure everybody's in position, and we're about to get underway on Talksport 2, your home of the EFL, your home of the Carabao Cup. And we just love football so much, we just keep bringing you football from all kinds of competitions. We're underway, and Ashley Nadazan tries to shield the ball early on but loses out, and a chance for Musa Gineppo to lay the ball off so that Mick Homer can get his first touch as a Southampton player. And he looks immediately for Romain Perrault, who's playing at centre-half tonight rather than left-back.
4-3-3 for Southampton. Wondered how the makeup of the side would be. It looks like Shea Charles will be sitting in front of the back four. Stuart Armstrong and Sekou Mara are the other two players in midfield with licence to get forward, but Shea Charles will just be sitting in front of that back four, giving them some protection.
Millwall 0, Reading 1. Kelvin Ehiv Hashinam, I hope I've got that right, he's put Reading in front very early on at the Den. That's Championship against League 1 in the Carabao Cup. This is League 2 against Championship, and Romain Perrault hits a long ball downfield looking for Samuel Amayor to get something on it, but it's cleared away by Gillingham, headed down by Ethan Coleman, and touched out to Che Alexander on this right hand side, who looked early, but the referee had already blown for a foul on a Gillingham player, so the Gills get a free kick midway point of their own half. Minute gone on Talksport 2 at the Priestfield, and it's goalless. And Gillingham of League 2 finished 17th in the end last season, which doesn't sound impressive, but when you consider they were bottom at Christmas, having won just 2 games, they were some way clear of the bottom 2 in the end, Matt Holland.
Yeah, they were. It's an incredible turnaround second half of the season. Just looking at how Gillingham are lined up, when we thought they might be a back 5, it doesn't look like that's the case either. It looks like a back 4 for them. It looks like Robbie McKenzie just pushed into midfield alongside Ethan Coleman, and it looks like they're playing a back 4.
Well, there was just a moment where Gillingham thought they were away down the left-hand side through Dom Jeffries, but he pushed Lyanco over right in front of the referee, and that was giving us a free kick to Southampton. 3 managers last season for the Saints, from Ralph Hasenhüttl via Nathan Jones to Ruben Selles, who of course is at Reading now, just taken the lead at Millwall. And Russell Martin signing a 3-year deal in the summer to take over. So a free kick in their right back position, level with the edge of their own penalty area, Southampton, and Lyanco drills it into the centre circle, but it's comfortably headed down by Robbie McKenzie. Nadazan lays it off, and now Ethan Coleman has it just over the halfway line for Gillingham, spins away from his opposite number, which is Sekou Mara, and goes back into his own half. And now a chance for Shadrach Oji, who won the title in League 2 with Leyton Orient last season. Good touch in field, picked out Jaden Clark, but he's lost out, and it's back with Sekou Mara, who's dropping quite deep for Southampton in these early stages. Che Adams looks to be on his own up front. Gillingham win it back, and Che Alexander can't bring the ball down as it's fired across from left to right. Southampton throw. 3 gone on Talksport 2, it's 0-0.
That's the out ball though for Gillingham. It's the 2 fullbacks. They have to provide the width. Looking at the way they're set up, they're quite narrow. Playing a 4-2-3-1, and the 2 wide players in that 3 are really narrow. So the fullbacks have to get forward when they can.
Ethan Coleman wins the ball back for Gillingham. Max Clark, the left back, looking for Nadazan, who heads the ball across the 18-yard line from right to left. Southampton look to get the ball clear. Stuart Armstrong though runs into Jaden Clark, and Gillingham have it back again. Now pressure from George Lapsley on Lyanco, but the big Brazilian centre-half stands up to that. Hull City have taken the lead against Doncaster in one of the 7:45 kickoffs. Oscar Estepinion, who went off like a train with his goals at the start of last season, has the goal for the Tigers. And Fleetwood lead at Port Vale in an all-League 1 tie at Vale Park. Kian Hayes, and it's half-time at the John Smith in the 7 o'clock kickoff. Huddersfield 1, Middlesbrough 1. You're with Talksport 2 in the EFL Cup. 0-0 between Gillingham and Southampton with 4 minutes played here in the southeast. Matt Holland alongside me, Ian Danter, for this evening. Good strong run from Robbie McKenzie. Rides 2 challenges and somehow held on to the ball in the centre circle. The fans love that.
Yeah, it's a blistering start actually from Gillingham. They've started really quickly and not giving Southampton any time on the ball whatsoever. You look back to the first game of the season against Sheffield Wednesday. Sheffield Wednesday sat off them. They allowed Southampton to have easy possession. Gillingham said, we're not having any of that. We're going to get in your faces. We're going to go man for man. We're going to start quickly, press you quickly, press you hard and not give you any time on the ball.
Oh, and a back pass from Romain Perrault that just went the wrong side of Alex McCarthy's post. He was being pressurised by Jayden Clark. McCarthy was stood to the right-hand side of his goal, and Perrault just had a heart-in-mouth moment thinking he was going to pass it into his own net, but it went just the other side of the post. Gillingham do have a corner at 0-0.
Yeah, lucky boy, and that's a really, really good example of the pressing I've talked about from Gillingham. Pressing high and quick, and Perrault looking to play it back to his goalkeeper. Really fortunate. His goalkeeper made an angle right side of his goal. He went the other way, and it went about, a yard wide of the post? Lucky boy.
Max Clark will have the corner where the main stand meets the Brian Moore. Left-footed in-swinger from Clark. Shadrach Oji goes up at the far post. It might drop for Max Amer, but volleyed away by Shay Adams. Nobody in the Southampton shirt on halfway, so Gillingham can get the ball back to their keeper. Watford lead in the Hertfordshire derby at Stevenage. Vakun Bayo for Watford, and Derby are behind to Blackpool in an all-League One tie at Pride Park. Jake Beasley. And Salford lead at Preston in a local derby of sorts up in the northwest. Conor McLennan for Salford at Preston. So early goals right around the country. I'll keep you bang up to date with the goals as they go in. Adrian Durham taking you around the grounds with our match reporters over on Talksport. But here on Talksport 2, 6 minutes gone in our commentary game. Gillingham 0, Southampton 0. And the ball's back with Lyanco, just shy of the halfway line for the Saints. Just lays it off in field for Jayden McComber, this young kid about whom so much is being talked at the training ground of Southampton. Clip forward, looking for the run of Sekou Mara, who made a run through the middle, but the ball just curled away from him and bounced through to Glenn Morris in the Gillingham goal, 0-0.
Yeah, it was actually a decent run from Sekou Mara, from slightly deeper in behind that Gillingham defence. If Stuart Armstrong had just looked to his right-hand side, Sam Amoyor was free on that right-hand side. It might have been a better option.
Goal kick, and it's a chance for Jayden Clark to sprint away down the right-hand side. McComber brings him down. Free kick to Gillingham down the right-hand side of the Southampton penalty area. McComber trying to catch up with Clark, who just got the drop on him and just took his legs away, was going for the ball, so it's a free kick to Gillingham.
Yeah, it's a foul. He actually didn't need to make the challenge because his pace had got himself back actually. He didn't need to go to ground, did so, and they're giving away a free kick in a really dangerous position.
It's down the right-hand side of the penalty area for Gillingham, in front of those Southampton fans behind the Brian Moore stand.
In hockey terms, a short corner.
Kind of. It's only about, 10 yards from the corner flag. Shea Alexander's the man standing over it, so he's going to curl this away from Alex McCarthy. Southampton holding a line on the 6-yard line with zonal marking, and they're going man for man around the penalty spot. Now Alexander moves back and will address the ball right-footed, curls it in deep to the far post. Oji with a header over the bar from a standing start. Didn't really jump, Shadrach Oji, but got underneath it slightly, and Southampton have a goal kick. 0-0 on 8 minutes.
Didn't need to jump. Free header at the back post. It was on an angle, which made it more difficult, but really I look back and think he should have hit the target, at least made the goalkeeper work.
That's the voice of Matt Holland you can hear alongside me, Ian Danter, here at the Priestfield. Matt's played and scored here, but he scored everywhere.
I played and lost here as well in a third round FA Cup tie. Should point that out as well.
Now Southampton in possession with Romain Perrault. Now McComber, faced up by Jayden Clark. Plays a little 1-2 with Gineppo. And again, high press from Gillingham. They're herring around after their championship opponents, and as soon as they get anywhere near the halfway line, they're not giving them time to breathe, but they have worked it out to the right-hand side, only for them to lose out. It was brought away by Amo Amoyor, but Gillingham won it back, and Jayden Clark, who's looked lively in these early stages, bursts through the centre circle, flicks it out to the left-hand side. Plays a little 1-2, and it's worked back into midfield, and then back to the centre halves, OG, and then the skipper, Max Amer. Gives it back to Oji, who's stood in the centre circle. No pressure from any Southampton player, so he hits a diagonal out to this near side the right. Chested down by Che Alexander, but that chest control allowed Jada Makoma to hook it half clear. Helped out first by Gineppo and then Perot. And it stays 0-0 with 9 minutes gone, and a better pass back by Perot to his keeper that time. And McCarthy actually will just lay it off for Perot to bring it out the box. 0-0. What have you spotted, Matt?
No, it's fascinating just looking at the managers and their body language on the touchline. Russell Martin furious with his team. I think he was really upset with Sekou Mara that he didn't set the press for Southampton or start the press for Southampton, and he was really aggressive in his tone. He's not happy with the way his team has started, but they're up against it. Gillingham started the brighter of the two teams. They've been at it, and they've moved the ball nicely as well when they've had it. Started really well.
And as our producer Dexter's pointed out to me, are they not the smallest technical areas you've ever seen? You go to Lincoln, you go to Sinsel Bank, and they've got about half a mile of technical area, and West Ham's even more ridiculous.
Yeah, that's a fair. But what I would say is this press box isn't bad though. There's a lot worse in the Premier League than this.
You're absolutely right in what you say. There was a time when you came here where there wasn't a desk to sit at. You just put your equipment under your seat and rested your notes on your knees. But times have changed. Priestfield is definitely a happier place to be, whether you're press or whether you're a player or a fan. It's 0-0 on Talksport 2. 10 minutes gone. I guess that's one little hurdle completed for Neil Harris, isn't it, Matt Holland, that got through the first 10 minutes, and Glenn Morris has had very, very little to do.
He's had nothing to do. He's had absolutely nothing to do. They've kept Southampton at arm's length. They've not allowed Southampton to settle into any sort of a rhythm. We talk about a team who want to keep the ball and putting your fullbacks into midfield. James Bree's just done that. He's actually given it away and left that channel open.
Coleman getting away down the left-hand side. Cross for Nadizan! Gillingham lead! Ashley Nadizan tucked it away at the far post. Brilliant run down the left-hand side. Southampton were robbed of possession, and the ball across the face of goal cut out goalkeepers and centre-halves, but Ashley Nadizan still had to finish very, very well indeed, and that is a totally deserved lead for the Gills here. The shock is on. 11 gone. Gillingham 1, Southampton 0.
Priestfield's bouncing, absolutely bouncing, and so it should be as well. You said it, a deserved lead. They've been the better side. They've been really bright from the off. Their pressing game has been excellent. They've not allowed Southampton to settle at all. On one occasion, James Bree has come into midfield to try and create that overload, create that extra body in the centre of the pitch. He comes into midfield, gives the ball away. He leaves his channel open. Gillingham exploit it brilliantly, but there's still lots to do. Can you find the cross? Does it superbly, and Nadizan arrives at the far post, taps it in on the stretch from 4 yards out. Fabulous start from Gillingham and a deserved lead.
Talksport 2 in the Carabao Cup. The man who joined in July from Crawley Town scored 31 goals when he was there in a different part of the southeast of England. Now here he is, getting Gillingham off and running against the Southampton side, who do not know what's hit them in this first 12 minutes. And they have to respond, having made 11 changes, let's not forget. You see it so often. Get Matt Holland's opinion on this in a moment, because Southampton are coming forward. Sometimes you get that team who plays like a team of strangers that do not know one another's roles and one another's strengths and weaknesses when these wholesale changes are made. Amo Amayor,
I think that's fair.
Touch. Is he going to keep that in play? He is, but he passes back into his own half, and Lanko was right under pressure from the goal scorer Nadizan, but he managed to get a toe end in to get it back to his keeper. It's still Southampton trying to get a foothold in this game. Gillingham lead by a goal to nil.
Yeah, I think that's fair when you talk about this Southampton side playing like a team of strangers. You have to say that Gillingham have been superb in pressing them. That's the first thing you have to say. The second thing is that Russell Martin hasn't been in charge of this Southampton side very long. He'll have worked extensively with the 11 that played against Sheffield Wednesday. Not so much with this 11. Yes, they'll know the roles and they'll have watched what he's been doing with the first 11 and how he wants his teams to play, but they won't have worked on it as much as the starting 11 against Sheffield Wednesday. So early days in Russell Martin's reign, a lot to learn for this Southampton side, and you have to give credit to Gillingham, the tempo that they've started this game. Southampton just haven't been able to live with it.
Gillingham 1, Southampton 0. If you're just tuning into Talksport 2 on this Tuesday evening, we just mentioned Sheffield Wednesday. They're trailing at home to Stockport in one of the other ties tonight. That's Paddy Madden, a real veteran of lower league football at Stockport now. He's given them the lead at Hillsborough. And Exeter 0, Crawley 1. Pladilolos for the Sussex club, putting them ahead down there in Devon. Southampton hit a long ball downfield, trying to get Gineppo away down the left wing, but the little way you heard from the Gillingham fans can tell you it drifted out of play harmlessly for a Gillingham throw. I think that's the furthest forward that Southampton have got in conceding that throw.
Russell Martin turned away in disgust when he saw that long ball from Lianco. I mean, it's an aimless, hopeful, long diagonal, straight out of play. We've seen his teams, how he wants them to play. Short passes into midfield. He doesn't want his team to play back to front quickly.
Gillingham 1, Southampton 0. Maybe Gillingham fans could key 03717 223344 into their handsets just to be on the safe side, in case they want to ring Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy from 10 o'clock on Talksport and crow about a win over championship opposition. Or maybe Southampton fans want to say something completely the opposite. That's the phone in tonight once all the action is done across our network, with Jamie and Jason on the Sports Bar on Talksport from 10 p.m. Here's Samuel Amo-Ameyor making his first start for Southampton tonight. Inside right position, approaching the right-hand corner of the box. Now Southampton have got bodies forward. James Bree elects not to cross. He gives it back to Amo-Ameyor, and he moves it in turn infield. Shea Charles, we've not seen much of him so far in central midfield for the Saints, but here he is rolling his foot on the ball to keep it away from Gillingham players, and now he's rolled back to Perrault, who darts over the halfway line. Plays a 1-2 with Meg Homer on this near side. Meg Homer trying to get away down this near side of the left. He's got Che Alexander backpedaling. Good ball into the box. Adams on the turn. Shot is blocked by Oji. It's laid off to Amo-Ameyor. Takes a shot, and Max Clark blocks it behind superbly for a corner kick of the Rainier to Southampton. 1-0 Gillingham.
Two really big, important blocks from Oji and Clark in the Gillingham defence. Shea Adams did superb. It was actually a fabulous move from Southampton, the best we've seen from them. Eventually finds its way to Adams, who turns quickly. Oji makes a big block, and then Max Clark gets across quickly to make another one, but it is a corner to the Saints.
Which Bree is going to take where the Rainier men meets the Medway. Over to our far left-hand side. Bree, right-footed delivery, good pace on the delivery, goes all the way through a crowd of players on the 6-yard box, and Jaden Clark just hits it downfield. Nadesan gives chase, but Alex McCarthy straight out of his penalty area to retrieve it. Goals going in elsewhere. Doncaster equalise at Hull, that's 1-1. George Miller for Donny. Cambridge lead at Sutton United for Jiri Okenabiri, who scored important cup goals for Shrewsbury in the past, has put Cambridge ahead at Gander Green Lane. And Port Vale have equalised at home to Fleetwood. Ethan Chislett making it 1-1 at Vale Park. 17 gone here on Talksport 2. Gillingham 1, Southampton 0. Ashley Nadesan with the early goal for the Gills, and Neil Harris, a very, very happy bunny down beneath us.
Yeah, so should be. Fabulous start from his side. You mentioned Shea Charles in commentary, said you haven't seen a great deal of him. It's because they've just really closely marked him. George Lapsley, out of possession, he's just following him everywhere, not allowing him any time, not allowing him any space to get on the ball.
Amo-Ameyor for Southampton, right-hand side, looking to make Max Clark backpedal, comes in field, left-footed ball deep to the far post. Mick Homer keeps it in right on the byline, at least he tried to, but in trying to sort of steer it back across the face of goal, he got it under it slightly and just drifted out of play at the Rainham end for a Gillingham goal kick that Glenn Morris prepares to take. He's in all purple tonight with Alex McCarthy in kind of a pink goalkeeping get-up for Southampton. So 1-0 to the Gills, 18 minutes gone. Neil Harris appointed in January of 2022, and it was only the third time ever that Gillingham had reached the round 4 of this competition when they beat Brentford last year. So no mean feat whilst there was chaos all around him in the league. Walsall lead at Blackburn, that's Championship against League 2, and Oisin McKenty has given Walsall the lead at Ewood Park. Now here's Lianco for Southampton, a goal down to Gillingham, powering through the halfway line. Adams looks early for Moussa Gineppo, down the left-hand side of the field for Southampton. A couple of step-overs into the box. Adams with his back to goal, trying to set up a teammate. He does set it up. The shot comes in from the edge of the area from Bree, and Gillingham have bodies in the way of the shot. And now Che Alexander darts out towards the corner flag and protects the ball well, so it ends up just being a goal kick in the end.
Signs of improvement from Southampton, though, since going a goal behind. Thumbs up this time from Russell Martin. A few moments ago, Lianco played a big, hopeful diagonal, should I say. It was hopeless, it went out of play. But he was furious, Russell Martin, turned away in disgust. This time, he beats the press by just dribbling 5-10 yards. 3 or 4 Gillingham players were out the game, and all of a sudden Southampton on the counter. That's more like it. That's more what Russell Martin wants his teams to do. But there's been definite signs of improvement since going a goal behind.
Tuesday night on Talksport 2, Ian Dancer and Matt Holland with you with our commentary game here. Gillingham 1, Southampton 0. 20 minutes gone. One of 29 ties in the Carabao Cup tonight, and more tomorrow. Our commentary game will be at Plough Lane. AFC Wimbledon against Coventry City. Again, Adrian Durham will start the show at 6 p.m. and our commentary game starts at 7:45 here on Talksport 2. Sam Parkin will be alongside me, a man with a foot in both camps, played for both clubs. Zach Gilson.
You say that quite a bit with Sam Parkin, can't you?
Yeah.
Played with both clubs.
That's true. He won't mind you saying that either.
No, he won't.
Zach Gilson has equalised for Blackburn against Walsall. They're only behind for a couple of minutes at Ewood. So 1-1 there. 1-0 here, but Southampton, who trail, find Shay Charles, who looks for Amo Amayor on the right wing position. Back in field to Shay Charles, trying to make room for a shot at the edge of the area, but it was won back by Ethan Coleman, who just stood strong and didn't let Charles goes past him. Now Gineppo for Southampton, trying down the left-hand side of the area, feeds it in field, right-footed shot from the edge of the area, came in from Sekou Mara, and Glenn Morris, he was straight at him, maybe slightly to his right, but he made a decent save, just holding on to the ball. And Birmingham lead at Cheltenham in one of the 7:45 kickoffs, and Lincoln lead at Notts County. Notts County getting their first taste of the EFL Cup in a few years, but Sean Ruffin has given Lincoln the lead at Meadow Lane. Juninho Bakuna scored the goal for Birmingham at Cheltenham, of course managed by their former player Wade Elliott. 1-0 here to Gillingham. 21 minutes gone on Talksport 2, your home of the EFL and the EFL Cup. More football than anybody else. James Bree making a strong run into the Gillingham half, feeds it out to the right wing, and Amo Amayor just lays it off to Stuart Armstrong, works infield to Shay Charles, almost at the centre of the Gillingham half. Just to his left is Jaden Meghomer. They're talking about him in the same context as Luke Shaw coming through at Southampton, such is their belief in this kid at left back, making his first appearance for Southampton's senior squad tonight. Amo Amayor over on the right hand side receives possession, up to the right hand corner of the box, and Stuart Armstrong, lovely turn from Armstrong across the face of goal, but claimed at the near post by Glenn Morris, but a lovely turn and drop of the shoulder initially from Stuart Armstrong. 1-0 Gillingham.
Yeah, it was. He immediately turned to the assistant referee, was claiming that he was pulled as well in making that turn, and a slight deflection took it into the goalkeeper's hands, but he wasn't happy. He felt as though he was held back, nothing given. As I say, Southampton have definitely got better last 10 minutes or so, moving the ball quicker and sharper. And Gillingham, in the first sort of 10 to 15 minutes, were really in their faces and closing them down quickly. All of a sudden now, just a yard off.
1-0 to Gillingham, midway through the first half. Goals going in elsewhere. Morecambe lead at Rotherham. That's League 2 at Championship. Michael Mellon for Morecambe. Tranmere lead at Barnsley. That's League 2, leading at League 1. Luke Norris for Tranmere. And Forest Green lead Portsmouth. Tyrese Omatoye with the goal there, and Ben Waines has given Plymouth the lead at Leyton Orient, and Gillingham have just won a corner back here at the Priestfield in front of those Southampton fans who've not had much to cheer in these opening 23 minutes. It's 1-0 to Gillingham. Matt Holland.
No, they've had a fair bit of work to do defensively. Southampton, another set piece to contend with, a corner this time, and it's interesting the way they set up. 5 men along the 6-yard box. Southampton zonal marking. If it comes in your area, you deal with it.
It'll be Max Clark to send a left-footed in-swinging corner once more. Down to our right-hand side where the main stand meets the Brian Moore. Just raises his right hand. Again, a deep corner, looking for OG at the far post. It's gone over his head, but he should keep it in play as it drifts out to the opposite corner flag. He's kept it in play. Now he's trying to win another corner. It's come back to Coleman. Deep cross to the far post. Clark keeps it in and wins another corner off Stuart Armstrong. He just had to hang out his left foot at the ball. Couldn't do much more than that. Thought, well, I'll try and hit it against Stuart Armstrong and play the percentages, and the percentages came off.
Yeah, a couple of early crosses into the box make it more difficult for Southampton to deal with. Both of them slightly overhit, but dangerous because they come in so quickly.
So Clark again will take this left-footed in-swinging corner. 2 or 3 Gillingham players in the 6-yard box. It's looking for Coleman, who heads it over the bar. Big chance for Ethan Coleman coming up from the back. Got his head to it about, 7-8 yards out. Looked like he got a decent contact, but it went over the bar for a goal kick. 1-0 Gillingham.
What a chance. What a chance. He knew it as well. Straight away. Head in his hands. I think he was probably nearer 5 or 6 yards out when he actually made connection, and he made decent connection as well. Got a good head on it, but about a yard over the top. Fabulous chance for Gillingham to extend their lead.
He arrived in January in that transfer window where Gillingham made a good deal of acquisition. Came from Leyton Orient. Ethan Coleman, very tall, rangy central midfielder, and he's clearly happy to join in at the business end of the pitch as and when required. It's 1-0 to Gillingham on Talksport 2. We've played 25 minutes at the Priestfield. Here's Romain Perrault bursting over the halfway line. Feeds it out to the right wing. Amo Amior into the area, drifts past Clark. Can he pull it back at the byline? Well, he tried, but it was blocked away by Gillingham legs. It comes back out to that right-hand side, and Amo Amior again skips past Clark, gets to the byline, tries to lay it infield for Sekumara, but back came Gillingham players to win it back. Dom Jeffries was the man getting involved that time, but Southampton have retained possession once more. A goal down, Southampton. Amo Amior now chips it up to the right-hand corner of the box. Stuart Armstrong tries to lay it off to Bree, but then Bree is dispossessed, and away come Gillingham, but then Dom Jeffries loses out. Sekumara then gets dispossessed by Coleman, and it's all rather scrappy at the moment. Both teams giving up possession quite readily, and then a free kick for a foul by George Lapsley, and it'll be a chance for Southampton to work the ball further forward. 1-0 Gillingham.
And it's going to be a yellow card, I think. I saw the yellow card come out the referee's pocket. He's now just having a word. Has he changed his mind? Is he going to go back or not? We'll soon find out. But no, there it is. There's the yellow card. Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, such a tempo to the game. You say the passage of play there when everyone was giving it away, it's because everyone was playing at 100 miles an hour. But yeah, real good tempo about this match.
So George Lapsley goes into the referee's notebook. We've played 27 minutes on Talksport 2. If you're just tuning in, Gillingham lead. League 2 Leeds Championship. Ashley Nadazan early in the piece after a blistering start by the League 2 team. But Southampton have grown into the half as we've gone on. McComber being pressurised by Jaden Clark, but he turns neatly inside his own half. Newport 0, Charlton 1. I've been told to point that score out by Matt Holland.
I just saw it come through on the video printer.
And that goal scored by Daniel Kanu.
Just caught my eye.
That's one of the 7:30 kickoffs in the Carabao Cup tonight. There's 4 ties that have kicked off at that time. Huddersfield Middlesbrough is back underway in the second half. That's 1-1. But Huddersfield are down to 10 men. Here, Southampton are a goal down. In steps Max Clark to stop Amo Amior getting away down the right-hand side, but it is a throw to Southampton, taken quickly by Bree. Stuart Armstrong gets dispossessed by Ethan Coleman, who can move over the halfway line, tight to the left-hand side. He supplied the cross for the Nadasan goal earlier. Just turns away, shows great strength, goes to ground and wins a free kick. That's fantastic hold-up play and strength from Ethan Coleman for Gillingham, who lead by a goal to 0.
Well, he did really well because he had nothing on. When he won possession, he's looking forward, he's looking for something. He didn't have anything on. He held on to the ball and won inside a free kick in a really good position again. Excellent play.
In the old Staffordshire derbies, they used to call it, Stoke lead West Brom by a goal to 0, an own goal by Josh Griffiths. And the free kick to Gillingham is only just in from the left-hand touchline, about 25 yards from the dead ball line. And it is Ethan Coleman that's going to strike it left-footed. Lofts it to the far post. OG again is the target. Drifts beyond him, but picked up on the right wing by Jaden Clark. Tries to swing across him, but doesn't wrap his foot round it enough. And I don't think it's gone out of play for a goal kick. It's gone out on the far side for a throw to Southampton. Portsmouth equalise at Forest Green. Kusini Yengi, who scored a late goal for Portsmouth at Fratton Park at the weekend, he gets the equaliser at the New Lawn. 1-1 there between League 2 and League 1. League 2 in front here against Championship as we approach the half hour. Mackenzie, who scored the winner for Gillingham at Stockport at the weekend, sent it forward. OG back into his own half for the captain, Max Amer. Shea Alexander forced to go back to his own keeper by the run of Gineppo. Birmingham have a second at Cheltenham. They lead 2-0 now. And Juninho Bakuna has his second of the evening for the Blues. Here at the Priestfield, the Blues of Gillingham are very happy with their progress with half an hour gone, Matt Holland.
And worthy of it in the first half an hour, I would suggest. I think they've been the better side. Just seeing now Lianco just striding forward through midfield. Now that's something that Southampton can do more of, because when you look at the way Gillingham are pressing them, it's man for man, they're in their faces. Who are the spare man? Well, they've only got one up top, two centre-backs. One of the centre-backs is free. We've seen it a couple of times with Lianco, once with Perot. They've broken the midfield press of Gillingham and got themselves in advanced positions. That's something they can perhaps do a little bit more of.
Derby 0, Blackpool 2. Jake Beasley has his second of the night as Blackpool take a 2-goal advantage at Pride Park. Derby lost at home in the league on Saturday. Very casual clearance from Glenn Morris in the Gillingham goal, just over the head of Che Adams, who was chasing him down from a back pass. And then a foul as Jaden Clark was manhandling Romain Perot, spotted by the assistant on this near side. So a free kick quickly taken, and James Bree comes away with the ball for Southampton. Gillingham 1, Southampton 0. 31 minutes gone on Talksport 2. And Alan Brazil back on breakfast tomorrow morning on Talksport when you wake up at 6 o'clock with Gabby Igbondahor, the former Villa centre forward, alongside Alan. And they're joined by a multitude of guests. Anthony Croller is going to be talking boxing with the boys. And also they'll be checking in with Courtney Sweetman-Kirk, our England women's correspondent down there in Australia, with, of course, England's quarter-final against Colombia, live on Talksport 2. Saturday morning our coverage starts at 11 a.m.
Anthony Joshua's looking for a heavyweight opponent at the weekend. Can Alan Brazil not step in?
I wouldn't fancy Anthony Joshua in that one. I think I'll be backing Al. Who would be his cornermen? Ray Parler and Ali McCoist, I assume.
Gabby on cuts.
I'd be worried what was in the bucket, to be honest. What was in the bottle that was handed to him at the end of each round. Anthony Joshua has an opponent, Hellenius. Pretty sure that fight is still live on Talksport on Saturday night as part of Fight Night, even though Dillian White is no longer eligible to compete. More about that in a minute. But here comes Jaden Meghomer, this young left-back for Southampton. It's 1-0 to Gillingham, 32 minutes gone. Gineppo takes over, inside left channel, skips inside Jaden Clark, lays into the centre of the Gillingham half for Shea Charles, and it's shoveled out to the right wing for Samuel Amoamayor. Comes to the left-hand corner of the box, tries a shot, it deflected up off Max Clark's left boot and actually made the save easier for Glenn Morris. 1-0 to Gillingham.
He's looked lively though, hasn't he, the youngster? Amoamayor on that right-hand side, Gineppo on the left as well. If Southampton can feed it out wide, those two have looked lively when in possession. Look like to hoping to try and commit some of their defenders, go past them. They've really a couple of tricky players. If they can get the ball to them more often, they might be in business.
Mansfield 1, Grimsby 0, a half-time score. So too Swansea against Northampton. Those two 7:30 kickoffs in the Carabao Cup. 1-0 here to Gillingham. We've still got just over 12 minutes plus added time before the break here in Kent at the Priestfield Stadium, as the shadows start to form under the floodlights here as they start to take more of an effect. Oh, lovely work from Amoamayor down the right-hand side. He's giving Max Clark a torrid time. Skips past him again. Keeps it in play at the byline. Tries to pull it across to the near post, and then a snapshot from Sekou Mara smacks the crossbar. And Southampton come desperately close to drawing level with Gillingham. Again, Amoamayor at the centre of it with super skill. And then a snapshot from Mara. Had the keeper beaten, but not the woodwork.
Well, there you go. Just as I'm saying, give him the ball. Get the ball to Amoamayor. and Gineppo on the other side, because they have got the beating of their fullbacks. That was terrific from Amo Ameyor. Dropped a shoulder, beat his defender, and that was absolutely terrific. He's done it so often. This time, there's a couple of times he's got into a really dangerous position, not being able to find the final ball. This time he does. And Seko Mara's really unlucky on the swivel, hits the crossbar. But Southampton are definitely coming back into the game.
Only signed pro form since July. Amo Ameyor made his debut briefly against Liverpool in May, as I mentioned. The youngest Saints player ever to play in the Premier League at just over 16 years of age that time. I just mentioned that AJ fight against Hellenius on Saturday night. Jim White and the team will be live from the AJ weigh-in this Friday. You can obviously hear that. You can even watch it via the Talksport YouTube channel this coming Friday. I think that's at one of the Westfields, isn't it? Either Stratford or Shepherd's Bush. I've been to both. Pretty much the same, funnily enough. Southampton coming forward with Moussa Gineppo. A goal down to Gillingham. Gineppo steps in field, goes for goal. It's a decent effort, but well saved. Got down low Glenn Morris and made a comfortable save, and made sure he held on to it, because Che Adams was looking for anything in terms of a rebound.
Yeah, looked the most likely though. The two wide players for Southampton. It's Gineppo again, this time coming inside on his right foot. Done that a few times already tonight. Got a shot away.
George Lapsley finds Dom Jeffries. Good quick feet from Jeffries. Gets it out to the left-hand side. Coleman now for Gillingham. Plays a little 1-2 with Lapsley, and then under pressure works it back to the halfway line, and Oji. Now he gets his head up and spots Che Alexander in space on this near side. Found him with a lovely crossfield pass. Alexander thought about an early ball into the area. Instead, tries to beat two players, but Moussa Gineppo got the better of him and wins it back. Now Perrault across his own 18-yard line for James Bree in the right-back position. He can trot into the centre of his own half. Bit of urgency required from Southampton. Russell Martin in the sort of the AVB position, I think we call it, on his haunches down beneath us.
Bielsa.
Oh, the Bielsa position as well. It was AVB that did it first. Oh, Villas Boas when he was at Chelsea particularly. Plays havoc with your Achilles, doesn't it, Matt Holland, when you're down like that?
And don't talk to me about Achilles. I'm downhearted. I've had an Achilles injury for 2 months. Really struggling I am.
Oh, I didn't remember you bringing that up. Sorry, I didn't mean that. Plymouth 2, Leyton Orient 0. Ben Waine gets a second of the night for Plymouth. One great start to the season for the Pilgrims under Stephen Schumacher. And Walsall are back in front of Blackburn. Ross Tierney for Matt Sadler's side up there at Ewood Park. And Rotherham have equalised at home to Morecambe. Josh Kayode for the Millers. Now there's a break in play because George Lapsley requires some treatment. Gives the players a chance to come to the near side to us, just down beneath us, Matt Holland, to take on some water and a bit of instruction. We've got 8 minutes to half time. It's Gillingham 1, Southampton 0 on Talksport 2.
Yeah, Russell Martin just having a chat with these two central midfield players, Shea Charles and Stuart Armstrong, looking to get them on the ball more often. How can they get on the ball more often? Because they've been well marshalled. Gillingham have done a really good job of closing down in the central areas. They're playing quite narrow, Gillingham, 4-2-3-1. Out of possession, they sort of sit back a little bit more, but they've really snapped into challenges in the middle of the pitch, and Southampton haven't had time on it, so he's looking to try and get those two midfield players on it more often.
Huddersfield 1, Middlesbrough 2 in that 7 o'clock kickoff, so the second half well underway, and the very talented wing-back Isaiah Jones has put Middlesbrough ahead at 10-man Huddersfield. Nearly 20 years, it will be 20 years next year, since Middlesbrough won the Carabao Cup, with Gareth Southgate and Danny Mills and co lifting the trophy in Cardiff as it was back then. Don't forget Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy taking your calls tonight on Talksport at 10 o'clock. After all the action has unfolded, you can have your say on national radio 03717 223344, and you'll hear from all the headline makers. I'll be heading down at the end of full time, hopefully to have a chat with both Neil Harris and Russell Martin, and you will no doubt hear from one of those managers at least, depending on events here during the course of the sports bar between 10 and 1 tonight. We're back underway. Coleman, who got injured, is just waiting to be reintroduced by referee Brook, and Southampton have possession. Whistles going up around the Priestfield as the referee hasn't allowed him back on quite yet. Here comes Southampton with Macoma down the left-hand side of the field, steps into the centre of the half, finds Shea Charles, early ball out to the right-hand side for Amo Amayor. Once again he's faced up by Max Clark, tries to skip inside him, quick feet, Bree has it laid off to him, clips it to the far post, and Morris punches it away from Shea Adams. It doesn't go out for a corner, merely goes out for a throw on this near side. 1-0 to Gillingham. Blackburn have equalised for a second time against Walsall. 2-2 Niall Ennis, and Salford 2-0 up at Preston. Conor McLennan for the Ammies. Here's Amo Amayor again, but this time Max Clark gets his foot in at the right moment, stops Amo Amayor skipping past him, and hits a long ball downfield, looking for Nadasan, who caught Lyanco. Was that a foul, or was Lyanco caught under the ball and got lucky, Matt Holland?
I think it probably was a foul. Referee was on the spot, gave the decision quite quickly. Amo Amayor is giving Clark all sorts of problems, though, isn't he? He's so dangerous, so difficult to mark. You're never quite sure which way he's going to go. Some players, when you're up against him and you're in a fullback, you know which way they're going to go largely. He's got that ability to go both ways, Amo Amayor. So dangerous and difficult to defend against.
He's clearly predominantly left-footed, playing on the right-hand side for Southampton, which
but
means
not worried about going down the outside.
No, indeed. Now Che Alexander bursts forward for Gillingham, right down beneath our commentary position. But again, he's got Gineppo and Macoma for company, and Gineppo wins it back superbly for Southampton. Rolls it into the centre circle. Good skill from Sekumara. Lets the ball run across his body and feeds it out to Amo Amayor, making strides again down the right-hand side. Runs into Clark, wants a free kick, and the referee says nothing doing. And he did just run into Max Clark. 1-0 Gillingham.
Yeah, he didn't do a lot wrong there, did he, Max Clark? Just held his ground. Decent defending the last two times he's faced up.
Wasn't deliberate obstruction, was it? 5 to half-time. Gillingham 1, Southampton 0 in the Carabao Cup. Ashley Nadazan with the early finish after an opening 10 minutes where Gillingham were completely on top. Southampton have made a better fist of it since then. However, Glenn Morris has had a couple of relatively long-range efforts to save, and Sekumara has hit the crossbar. The Southampton have tried to respond. Can they get back level before the referee sends them in at the break? It's on halfway with Lyanco for Southampton at the moment. Attacking the Rainer men. Long ball over the top, looking for Shea Adams. Brings it down. He was onside, but the touch took the ball away from him. Picked up instead by Sekumara. Tries to drive on the volley. Teed himself up at the edge of the area, but Glenn Morris watched it go wide, watched it all the way, and knew where his posts were. Goal kick Gillingham. They still lead Southampton 1-0.
Well, we haven't got the benefit of replays in front of us. It looked as though he might well have been offside, Shea Adams. Well, I mean, no VAR, so even if the goal had been scored, it wouldn't have been brought back. It was a decent opportunity in the end, with play being allowed to continue. His first touch seemed a decent one as well on the stretch, but couldn't quite gather it at the second attempt.
Charles wins a header from the Gillingham goal kick for Southampton, but it drifts out of play for a Gillingham throw, about 15 yards from the halfway line. Shea Alexander being told to get on with it by the referee. Free from AFC Wimbledon last year. Shea Alexander will with AFC Wimbledon tomorrow night on Talksport 2 as they take on Coventry. Now Jaden Clark's just been wrestled to the ground by Romain Perrault as he tried to get away down the Gillingham right, and a free kick's been awarded. No further punishment.
That's a yellow card, isn't it? I mean, that's a yellow card for Romain
Well, if the earlier one for Lapsley was yellow, then yes, by the letter of the law.
I mean, that's a cynical challenge. He's got the wrong side of him and he's held him back. I mean, that's quite clearly a yellow.
Well, the referee is bidding the Frenchman over to him, and it will indeed. He's just thought about it for a moment there.
I think he might have had some assistance from the man on the touchline. The assistant referee might just have had a quick word in the referee's ear.
Yeah.
So I think that might be a yellow.
Carbrook books Perrault, one apiece then. One apiece at the Lamex. Stevenage have just equalised against Watford in the Hertfordshire derby. Josh March has equalised for the Borough. So here at the Priestfield, interesting. 2 minutes to half time and Gillingham have a free kick just past the midway point of the Southampton half, but only 3 or 4 yards in from this near touchline on the Gillingham right as they attack the Brian Moore end. And Max Clark is going to swirl this free kick in, left-footed. Couple of Gillingham players standing offside around the penalty spot. Southampton holding their line about 16 yards out. In it comes from Max Clark. Keeper comes out and gets it. Alex McCarthy stepped in front of George Lapsley and put it out of play for a throw on this near side. 1-0 Gillingham.
Well, I tell you what, that's not great goalkeeping. It was quite a flat delivery, and he didn't really have to come, I don't think. I think he probably should have stayed on his line. He's come trying to get through bodies, but it was quite flat and low. Didn't need to come there, Alex McCarthy.
So a long throw coming in for Gillingham. They don't have much room on this near side, but Mackenzie's got good pace on that throw. But a foul throw, I think, has been given. As I say that, he got good pace on it. Stepped his left foot over the line.
Push from Oji.
Was a push in Joe?
Yeah.
Right, wasn't a foul throw.
No, it was a shove from Oji.
Goals elsewhere. Accrington Stanley 0, Bradford City 1. Alex Pattison right on half-time for the Bantams, and Bolton lead Barrow. Zach Ashworth with the goal for the Trotters.
Ian Everett against his old side.
Yes, that's right. League 1 against League 2. Bolton very much one of the fancied sides for the League 1 title this year, never mind promotion. And they started well on Saturday in the EFL. Now, Southampton not got long to get themselves level in this first half. It is Lyanco just over the halfway line. We're going into 4 minutes of minimum added time at the end of this first half. So 4 minutes that we're into now. Preston have got a goal back against Salford. It's 1-2 now. Ben Woodburn with a goal for Preston. Preston 1, Salford 2. Southampton 1-0 down, but here comes Moussa Gineppo darting down the left-hand side of the Gillingham box. Lays it off to Romain Perrault into the feet of the Scot Stuart Armstrong. But he's got Ethan Coleman snapping at his heels, so he has to go back to Romain Perrault once more. Armstrong clips the ball into Gineppo. Sunderland 0, Crewe 1. The League 2 side ahead at Championship Sunderland through Luke Offord. Now a diagonal ball from Romain Perrault looking for Amo Ameyor, who does bring it under control pretty well. Keeps possession, finds James Bree. Now at the right-hand corner of the Gillingham box, it's with Sekou Mara. Armstrong tries to play a 1-2 at the edge of the area. Doesn't quite come off for Southampton. And Gillingham bring it clear. Mackenzie wants a foul. Nothing doing, says the referee. And Southampton have it back. Sekou Mara looks for Armstrong. Amo Ameyor takes over. And Shea Charles works into midfield. Perrault's going to have a go for goal. I don't need to tell you where that's ended up. Good 20 rows back, just in case you're not aware. Yes. In the rain of men. Goal kick to Gillingham. 1-0 they lead on Talksport 2.
It was actually really good football by Southampton until that point. They'd moved it really quickly. 1 and 2 touch under intense pressure actually from Gillingham. We were closing them down quickly. Gineppo was away to his left-hand side though. Romain Perrault 30 yards out. Very adventurous effort and way over the bar.
So a goal kick for Gillingham. Smacked downfield by the right foot of Glenn Morris. Looking for Ashley Nadesan to get the flick on. Didn't quite connect, but it still broke for Jaden Clark out on this near side, the Gillingham right, faced up by the debutant Meg Homer. Tries to win a corner off Meg Homer, and he's done exactly that. Corner kick to Gillingham right at the end of first half added time. 1-0 they lead.
Yeah, they've looked dangerous actually from set pieces as well. Delivery's been decent. They've attacked it well. We've seen one effort, didn't we, from Ethan Coleman just over the top of the bar when he should have done better.
Well, they're taking their time over this, and I'm sure the referee is keeping an eye on just how slowly Max Clark is moving over to this near corner. Barnsley 1, Tranmere 1, right on half-time. Herbie Kane equalises for Barnsley at Oakwell. And we're approaching half-time here as well. It's 1-0 to Gillingham. They have a corner away to our right in front of that open end. Max Clark into the near post, left-footed, and it's 2-0! But the whistle's gone. Robbie Mackenzie thought he'd scored 2 goals in 2 games, but again the referee has spotted a push, and it stays 1-0 to Gillingham.
Well, we've said how dangerous they are from set pieces. Wonderful delivery, a decent header as well. I'd love to see it back and tell you exactly where the push came from. Difficult to tell. Happened so quickly.
I think the whistle had gone from the referee even before the ball had gone past Alex McCarthy. And we don't have the benefit of any replays in our commentary position here at the back of the main stand. But the score remains Gillingham 1, Southampton 0 as we approach half-time on Talksport 2. Give you a full rundown of all the Carabao Cup scores, both latest and half-times, in just a moment. But for now, Gillingham trying to get forward. Long ball downfield for Lyanco to try and deal with. Ashley Nadesan straight onto him, and now Lapsley trying to knee the ball into his own possession and burst downfield. But the ball got away from him and skidded through to Alex McCarthy. 1-0 to Gillingham.
Takes a chance, Lyanco. And he's allowing that ball to bounce at centre half, and you've got Gillingham pressurising him really quickly at the top end of the pitch.
Neil Harris definitely wanted a replay of that incident. Was giving the fourth official plenty. And Gillingham have given plenty in this first half, and they deservedly lead Championship Southampton as we reach half-time here at the Priestfield on Talksport 2. They went off at a serious canter, did the Gills, and they got themselves in front by the 10-minute mark. Ethan Coleman broke away down the left-hand side, squared the ball across, cutting out goalkeeper and defenders and sliding into the far post. Ashley Nadasan got his first goal of the season for his new club. Southampton tried to respond as they grew into the half. The closest they came, a snapshot from Sekou Mara from the right-hand corner of the 6-yard box that hit the corner of post and bar but stayed out. And Matt Holland at the break, League Two deservedly lead their illustrious opponents.
Yeah, I think so. A fascinating game, actually. You know that Southampton want to try and play. Well, the first 10-15 minutes they hardly had a keep because Gillingham were in their faces so quickly. They had no time on the ball whatsoever. They were pressurised from the front, snapping into challenges, and they couldn't keep the ball. As the half wore on, and after Gillingham scored, Southampton started to improve, started to break the press more often, started to get Genepo and Amo Amayor on the ball more, who looked their most threatening players. The two centre-halves, Lianco and Perot, were starting to break the press by taking it into midfield and beyond. And they looked a little bit better in the last 15-20 minutes of that half, but could easily have been 2-0 down right on the stroke of half-time. Fortunate maybe that a goal was disallowed just on the break. But I've been really impressed with Gillingham. The tempo, the intensity, the movement, the delivery for the cross and for the goal was perfect, and they've had a number of set pieces where the delivery's been excellent as well. It's been a really, really good performance from the League Two side.
The age-old question remains, though, Matt Holland. Can Gillingham keep up those levels of intensity as you go deep into the second half?
Well, I mean, look, they're a fit team. They've got the option to change things as well. That's what your squad's for. They made 5 changes already from the game at the weekend, with an eye on the game at the weekend against Accrington. So Neil Harris will feel as though he can make changes. I think he was really pleased with the changes at the game against Stockport at the weekend. The subs came on and made a difference. So he'll be hoping that something similar can happen this evening.
Thank you for the time being, Matt Holland. Stay with us. I'll run you through all the latest scores, including half-times, in just a moment here on your home of the EFL Talksport 2. Well, Southampton were semi-finalists in the League Cup last year. They're in danger of falling at the first hurdle of this competition this season. With a half-time score, full second half commentary to come. Gillingham 1, Southampton 0.
Talksport 2, official broadcast partner of the EFL. Every day, Talksport 2 probes the sharpest minds in the business, bringing you all the big-name news, views and opinions that matter. Plus, Talksport 2's official betting partner, 888 Sport, is on hand with the insight and in-depth analysis you need to crack the big betting puzzles of the day. Talksport 2 with 888 Sport, official betting partner of Talksport 2. 888 Sport, made to challenge, made to debate, made to play. 18 plus begambleaware.org.
Righty here for Gillette. Have I got something for you? The Gillette Labs razor has a unique exfoliating bar that clears the path before the blades for effortless shaving in one stroke, leaving you fresh and ready to take on your day in no time. And at Gillette, we promise you that Gillette Labs is the ultimate shave, or, I've always wanted to say this, your money back. Gillette, the best a man can get. 18 plus, retain receipt, terms and conditions apply.
Ooh, Mackie D's. Give us a fry.
Help yourself.
Wait, what?
Have one, Dad. They were free.
Free fries, how?
Signed up for rewards on the McDonald's app.
McDonald's have a reward scheme.
Yes, and an app is a thing you get on your phone when you download it.
Okay, thank you. I'm had another one for that.
My McDonald's Rewards. Sign up on the McDonald's app and get free fries and 1,000 points when you place your first order. 18 plus. Only via app of participating restaurants. Register by the 16th of August and order within 14 days. Minimum spend required. Terms apply.
Be more CyberZen. Get NordVPN. Help avoid online trackers and malware-infected downloads. You could enjoy cleaner, safer, and more private internet daily. Be more CyberZen. Catch the special deal now at nordvpn.com.
Did you know that if you owned or leased a diesel vehicle between 2009 and 2020, then you could be entitled to significant compensation? At My Diesel Claim, we're experts in handling these claims, and over 1 million drivers have already trusted us to represent them in their no-win, no-fee claims. It's completely free to sign up, and you can check your vehicle's eligibility instantly. Head to mydieselclaim.com and join thousands of others starting their claims today.
The Honda HR-V Hybrid is a very good-looking car. So here we are on the radio, where its clean lines can't distract from its other qualities, like its spacious interior. Advanced safety features are standard. Connectivity, oh hang on, are some of you searching online for a picture of it? Okay, it's gorgeous, but you know what? Go to a showroom, see it in person, maybe even test drive it. It's not all about looks. Honda, the power of dreams.
PGA Tour St Jude's Championship, Thursday night from 5 on Talksport 2.
Blasted high into the air, will it land softly? Oh my goodness!
As the world's golfing elite go head-to-head at TPC Southwind, hear full swing by pitch by putt commentary of all the action direct from Memphis.
The ball is on the floor, running down towards the hole. He's staying still. Will it get there? Will it get there? Yes! And it does.
PGA Tour St Jude's Championship, Thursday night from 5 on Talksport 2.
On DAB+, online, via the Talksport app, and on your smart speaker.
The League Cup live on Talksport 2.
Coleman getting away down the left-hand side. Cross for Nadizan! Gillingham lead! Ashley Nadizan tucked it away at the far post. Brilliant run down the left-hand side. Southampton were robbed of possession, and the ball across the face of goal cut out goalkeepers and centre-halves, but Ashley Nadizan still had to finish, and that is a totally deserved lead. Max Clark into the near post, left-footed, and it's 2-0, but the whistle's gone. Robbie McKenzie thought he'd scored 2 goals in 2 games, but again the referee has spotted a push, and it stays 1-0 to Gillingham. And Gillingham have given plenty in this first half, and they deservedly lead Championship Southampton as we reach half-time here at the Priestfield on Talksport 2. It is 1-0 to the Gills on Talksport 2 here on this Tuesday evening in the Carabao Cup. Let me bring you up to date here with all the goals elsewhere. Omi and Danta, Matt Holland is alongside me on commentary. We'll be back with Matt in just a moment. But at the moment, Huddersfield 1, Middlesbrough 3 is the latest score in the 7 o'clock kickoff. Riley McGree, the Aussie, has just scored Middlesbrough's 3rd against 10-man Huddersfield. Mansfield have just gone 2 up on Grimsby in one of the 7:30 kickoffs. Rhys Oates for the Stags. Elsewhere, Swansea are 2-0 up against Northampton. Joel Perreault has his 2nd of the night. And Peterborough have just been pegged back by Swindon. Russian Hepburn Murphy makes it 1-1 at London Road, and in the other 7:30 kickoff it's still Newport 0, Charlton 1. All these other scores are half times, like this one here at Gillingham. It's Accrington 0, Bradford 1, Barnsley 1, Tranmere 1, Blackburn 2, Walsall 2, Bolton 1, Barrow 0, Cheltenham 0, Birmingham 2, Derby 0, Blackburn 2, Exeter 0, Crawley 1, Forest Green 1, Portsmouth 1. Gillingham 1, Southampton 0 here on Talksport 2. Harrogate 1, Carlisle 0. Hull 1, Doncaster 1. Millwall 0, Reading 1. MK Dons 0, Wickham 0. Notts County 0, Lincoln 1. Plymouth 2, Leyton Orient 0. Port Vale 1, Fleetwood 1. Preston 1, Salford 2. Rotherham 1, Morecambe 1. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Stockport 1. Stevenage 1, Watford 1. Stoke 1, West Brom 0. Sunderland 0, Crewe 1. Sutton 1, Cambridge 1. And Wrexham against Wigan is still 0-0. They're just coming up to half-time there. That game got away slightly later than the rest at the racecourse this evening. But you're bang up to date with all the latest scores around the country. Well, the return of the Premier League gets ever closer. Friday evening, live on Talksport, we bring you the season opener. Newly promoted Burnley face the champions Manchester City at Turf Moor. Ahead of the new campaign, Talksport's Hugh Wozencroft caught up with the Premier League chief, Richard Masters.
It's the launch of the Premier League, one of the biggest sporting leagues and products in the world. So First question is, how do you go about making it even bigger and better?
Well, it gets a bit bigger and better every year, I think. I've just come back from a pre-season tour with the Premier League, 6 clubs in the US. We sold 250,000 tickets for 9 matches. It was unbelievable. So it is getting a bit bigger. We're always trying to improve it. Got a couple of tweaks to the competition this year. And again, that's just about trying to make it better for fans, better to watch. But obviously, we remain the same with 380 games in August and May. The Premier League creates its own stories and narratives that keep people watching it.
You mentioned those tweaks there. There are some fans concerned by what they saw to start the EFL season. All but 2 matches going to 100 minutes, one almost 23 minutes added on. Already some high-profile opponents in the shape of Pep Guardiola, Rafa Varane of Manchester United, talking about the pressures on players' physical and mental health. What are your thoughts on the changes?
Well, they're coming from FIFA. So FIFA via IFAB have given guidance that they want to see what happened in the World Cup now played out through domestic competitions, which is for referees to take a more literal approach to time added on. And what they really want to see is the time played actually improved. The Premier League's on average about 98.5 minutes. So 100-minute matches aren't that much of an adjustment, if you like, with 55 minutes of playing time. So we want to see that playing time going up. We want to see a sensible adjustment to it, but also we're looking at cracking down on the sort of causes of time wasting, if you like. So expect to see more players booked if they kick the ball away at free kicks, if they stand in the way of it, if they take over a minute to take a throw in with 10 minutes to go, if they're 1-0 up. Those things will be penalised, and that time will be added on, which is why you're going to see slightly longer games. I said I hope it's a sensible adjustment, and that fans take to it, because in the end, we want fans to enjoy watching Premier League matches.
On the point of 8 p.m. kickoffs on a Saturday, 7 p.m. on a Sunday, though, is that right for fans of the Premier League?
Well, they aren't normal slots. So we have matches on Friday nights occasionally. They're displacement slots, really. Saturday at 12:30, Saturday at 5:30. 2 normal slots on the Sunday and Monday night, and midweek games are where you're going to see majority of Premier League matches positioned and broadcast. Quite recently, for player welfare reasons, we brought in the slight twist, which was that if you're playing in Europe on a Wednesday and you were selected to play at Saturday 12:30, you could opt to play at a different time. That's where you see Saturday matches playing. So again, it's all a balance.
Richard Masters in conversation with Hugh Woozencroft. He's the Premier League Chief Executive, Richard Masters. You'll hear more of that interview as we build up to the Friday opener live on Talksport. Burnley against Manchester City. Remember, any Premier League game Friday night, Monday night, it's live and exclusive to Talksport, as well as Saturday lunchtime games, and we'll bring you a regular 3 o'clock Saturday Premier League commentary over on Talksport 2 as well, or sometimes Talksport at the moment, because the Summer Series Rugby Internationals are ongoing. We've got 2 more for you on Saturday. But we just heard there from Richard Masters on time wasting, Matt Holland. Here's my theory on this. I think there's a concerted effort from players and managers this weekend to rubbish the idea, to throw it out as being needless, because they want the dark arts. They like the dark arts. They need the dark arts, players and managers. They don't want the dark arts to lead the game because they feel it's too important. So they will push back against anything that threatens it. This is a real line in the sand that Howard Webb has drawn here.
It'll be fascinating to see how it plays out in the next few weeks. Whether games will continue to be 100 plus minutes, or whether that'll just be cut back somewhat. Maybe players will adjust to what's being asked of them from officials, from the Premier League, from the EFL, and they'll start perhaps just being a little bit more well behaved, and accepting that they can't time waste because it'll just only get added on anyway. So maybe in the next sort of 2 or 3 weeks we'll just see that just adjusted slightly, and we'll see less added time.
But somebody's got to blink first. It's whether it's the referees or whether it's the players and the managers.
Usually the referees. Sorry, it's usually the players. When a new law comes in, new rule, then we've seen it before. Pulling in the box, for instance, penalties were given for it. All of a sudden, 2 or 3 weeks down the line, you see less penalties given for it. So it's usually the referees that blink first. It'd be fascinating to see what happens on this occasion.
Well, the Southampton players have just emerged from the tunnel down to our right-hand side just to do a few shuttle runs from the cones that have been set up by the coaching staff in that corner. I can't see. Well, there might be a change or two. What's it? 8? I think there might be a couple of changes here at the break for Southampton, Matt Holland, because I can only see 8 outfield players along with Alex McCarthy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so there may be a couple of changes coming up here. He may have seen enough from certain players. Oh no, Amayor's just coming out, so he's not one of the changes. So there may just be one change instead. And Joe Aribo is coming on. So too is Kamari Doyle from the academy. So 2 changes from Southampton before we've even kicked off at the start of the second period, Matt Holland.
I'm not surprised. There's a fair few periods in that first half where Russell Martin was just not happy with what he was seeing. And if you're not going to adhere to what he's asking for you, then this is a message, isn't it, to his players? It was a disappointing first half performance from them, and he's decided to make a change to try and just give them a little bit of a kick up the backside, really, and give them a little message to say what we saw in that first half wasn't acceptable. We need to do better.
Sent them out quite early as well, because the Gillingham players have yet to emerge.
Seko Mara's one of them. I said in the first half that he wasn't happy with his pressing. He wasn't happy that he wasn't closing down quick enough in midfield when Gillingham had the ball. It looks as though Joe Aribo will take his place in the middle of midfield. That looks like one of the changes.
Well, Kamari Doyle is a midfielder. He's been with Southampton since he was 7 years
Stuart
of age.
Armstrong as well, isn't it? I think it's Stuart Armstrong
and Sekou Mara.
The 2 midfield players that are ahead of Shea Charles. They had no control in there whatsoever. I said they got run over in there. Gillingham were much sharper, so I can totally understand why Russell Martin's decided to make those changes.
Well, we'll wait for that to be officially confirmed when the 4th official holds up the board. I can tell you they've reached half-time at the racecourse. Wrexham 0, Wigan Athletic 0. I must check to see whether James McLean's playing in that game. His first game for Wrexham would be against his old club if that was the case. The club he's just moved from. Love how football throws up those stories just when you least expect it. Fleetwood Town are in front at Port Vale. It was 1-1 at half-time, but Ryan Graydon, I wonder whether he's related to Ray Graydon, the famous Villa player who won a League Cup with Aston Villa back in, let me get the year right, 1976. I think, don't worry, Matt Holland, you were too young. And then he went on to manage Walsall with great distinction. That probably means he's not a relative, Ryan Graydon, but he scored anyway for Fleetwood. And those changes are confirmed. So on goes Kamari Doyle. He has played some Premier League football for Southampton at Brighton at the tail end of last year. Aribo, a good deal more experienced, of course, Matt, as a player. Joined Rangers, emerged at your old club, Charlton Athletic, where he first made his name. So he's on in midfield. So too is Doyle. And Southampton in their 3rd kit, the black shirts with the grey shorts and black socks, kicking towards their fans in the Brian Moore end away to our right in this second half. We're underway on Talksport 2 with the second period. Gillingham, remember, 1-0 up at the break, courtesy of Ashley Nadasan's goal after around 10 minutes here in Kent. And Russell Martin has elected to make 2 switches. No changes for Gillingham at the break. I'll run through their lineup in just a minute, but I'll pause for a moment because Roman Perot's just trotted over halfway, finds Leanco, will give it back to Perot, moves purposefully into the Gillingham half, goes out to the left hand side for The substitute who's just come on, Doyle, but he's dispossessed. And Gillingham will want to throw. So Gillingham have Morris in goal, Alexander, Amer, OG and Clark in the back four. Lapsley, Coleman, McKenzie, Jeffries and Clark in sort of a 5-man midfield. That's Jaden Clark. There are 2 Clarks out there for Gillingham, and Nadasan, the goal scorer, up front. For Southampton, it's now McCarthy in goal, Bree, Lyanco, Perrault and McHomer in their back four. And then in midfield it's now Doyle, Gineppo, Charles and Amayor, and Aribo supporting Shea Adams in attack. James Bree wins it back for Southampton and finds Perrault at the edge of his own penalty area. Huddersfield have got a late goal back against Middlesbrough in that 7 p.m. kickoff. It may not be enough. Kyle Hudlin gets the goal for Huddersfield. 2-3 the score there. Lincoln have a second at Notts County. Lasse Sorensen to Notts County 0, Lincoln 2 at Meadow Lane, and Barnsley 1, Tranmere 2 at Oakwell. The League 2 side back in front through Samuel Taylor. Throw to Gillingham. Couple of minutes gone. Things haven't really settled after the restart yet, have they, Matt Holland?
No, they haven't. We talked about the 2 substitutions that Russell Martin's made. I can totally understand why. Wants a little bit more athleticism, a little bit more movement from the middle of the pitch, pressure on the ball when they haven't got the ball, extra legs really, and there wasn't enough of that in the first half from them.
So who is closest to Che Adams now that Sekumara's gone off? Now Nadasan trying to make tracks down the right hand side. Lyanco comes across, well, couldn't keep it in play though. It's a throw to Gillingham, level with the Southampton penalty area at the Raynham end. 1-0.
It's actually still the same shape dance because Sekumara and Stuart Armstrong were ahead of Shea Charles and both given the task of getting close to Shea Adams when they had the ball. So it's just the same really. Doyle and Aribo will both be looking to try and join him as much as possible, and obviously try and get the ball out as wide as much as possible, because in the first half it was the 2 wide players for Southampton that were their most threatening.
Jaden Clark almost won a corner for Gillingham, but Meg Homer scurried back and kept the ball in play. OG with a deep ball into the Southampton box, but that's comfortably claimed by Alex McCarthy for the Saints. 139 appearances now since he arrived in 2016. He's forever been the bridesmaid as the Southampton goalkeeper, but getting a rare opportunity tonight. Made 6 Premier League appearances last season, McCarthy, and his kick downfield eventually is worked back to the halfway line. Blackburn in front for the first time tonight against Walsall. Twice they've been behind, but Jake Garrett now gives them a 3-2 lead at Ewood Park. Newport equalise against Charlton. Sorry, Matt,
I didn't want to point that one out.
Well, I'll point it out for you. Aaron Wildig for the Exiles. All square at Rodney Parade. 1-0 to Gillingham here at Priestfield. 4 minutes gone, second half. Southampton moving the ball into the Gillingham half. And it's with Meg Homer finding Doyle, another youngster from the Southampton Academy. Now taking over down that left-hand side, Shea Charles. Gets to the left-hand corner of the box. It's laid back to Kamari Doyle. James Bree right in the centre of the Gillingham half, just tucking in from right back for the moment. Plays it left and Perrault slides the ball quite deliberately out to the left-hand side, and Meg Homer tries to get a cross in, blocked by a couple of Gillingham legs, and the ricochet works for Ethan Coleman. Tries to release Nadasan down the right-hand side, but the ball drifts out of play in that Medway stand opposite us, and it's a throw to Saints. 1-0 Gillingham.
When you start lifting shapes, it can make a bit of a fool of you at times, can't it? Because managers now are trying to do different things. We've just seen James Bree there, the right back, go to central midfield. He was alongside Romain Perrault, who's the centre half. So the centre half and the right back were both playing in central midfield. Just a real constant rotation of positions now in modern football.
Ashley Nadasan's just won a free kick. He just got to the ball marginally ahead of Lyanco, who took him down. It wasn't a reckless challenge, just slightly late. Nadasan picks himself up, and it will be a free kick then to Gillingham. Not quite at the midway point of the half, almost, but it's to the right of centre, with Gillingham attacking the Raynham end to our left in this second period. 5 minutes gone to the second half. They lead Southampton by a goal to nil. League 2, a goal up on Championship here in the Carabao Cup, first round. Gillingham, remember, made round 4 last year. And they beat Brentford on the way. On penalties, they're leading Southampton here. Che Alexander with the free kick. Sent deep into the box. Oji trying to get round to the back post. It's in front of goal and tucked away by Robbie McKenzie. 2-2 for the centre-half come midfielder for Gillingham. He put one away in the first half that was ruled out, but that one counts. And Gillingham now have clear blue water between themselves and Southampton. Shock most definitely on. Robbie McKenzie makes it Gillingham 2, Southampton 0.
They'd actually started a little bit slower in this second half, Gillingham. First half, the tempo was absolutely brilliant, closing Southampton down at every opportunity. In the second half, Southampton had dominated the ball. Asked a lot more questions at the start of this second half, but we saw in the first period how dangerous Gillingham are at set pieces. Corners and delivery into the box was something that Southampton struggled to deal with, and once again it's the same. A deep ball into the penalty area. Oji heads it back into the danger area, and it's McKenzie on hand, 4 yards out to poke it past Alex McCarthy. Shock is very much on.
7 gone, second half. Gillingham 2, Southampton 0. And Robbie McKenzie, who's a bit of a fan favourite here, arrived a few years ago from Hull City, made over 100 appearances now for the Gills. How about that? 2-2 for Robbie McKenzie. Top goal scorer. You'll be reminding the players of that in the dressing room after, no matter what happens during the rest of this match. And Southampton have got to get a grip here, because that, in many senses, Matt Holland, has been coming in the sense that Shadrach Oji has been pulling away to the back post for crosses from the right-hand side all night, and he's not been followed more often than not.
They've won first contact from delivery into the box more often than not. Oji, yes, on a few occasions. We saw Ethan Coleman head over the top of the crossbar as well in that first half. The delivery's been good. It's been flat, it's been pacey, but the defending from Southampton has been poor. Oji, as you quite rightly say, every time has pulled to the back post, into space, and this time his header counted because it got into the danger area, and McKenzie was on hand to poke it home from a few yards out. The noise has gone up a notch, hasn't it, inside Priestfield. They sense that they're going to knock out Championship opposition.
53 minutes gone. Gillingham have a throw, midway point of the Southampton half, on this near side to us, the left, with Gillingham in their blue and white graded shirts attacking the Raynham end. It's thrown in by Oji to Max Clark, the left back, drills across into the box, headed up in the air by Bree. Where's that going to drop? Up went Aymer trying to get something on it, but wasn't strong enough, oddly enough, the big German central defender. But Gineppo gives the ball away, and here's Oji down the left-hand side of the box, goes down under pressure. Good challenge from Bree. He's got his socks rolled down. Steve Claridge started to his ankles as Shadrach Oji. And now there's a free kick, as there was a challenge on Amo Adeor, and it's a free kick to Southampton, who've got work to do and then some here as they travel from the south coast to the southeast and find themselves 2 goals down with just coming up to 10 minutes gone in the second half. Matt Holland.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great atmosphere now inside Priestfield, but Southampton need a reaction.
Doyle down the left-hand side of the box. McComber tries to put it across the face of goal, and it goes behind, but the offside flag's gone up.
Flag's up. Flag was up very early.
I couldn't see the flag for your iPad.
Sorry.
I'm making an excuse there. Should have been leaning over a bit more. It's 2-0 to Gillingham. You're listening to Talksport 2, home of the Carabao Cup. We've got more commentary for you tomorrow night. Would there be a shock at Plough Lane? AFC Wimbledon against Coventry City is our commentary again. Remember, Adrian Durham's on air from 6 o'clock on these midweek nights of domestic action. 6 o'clock start here on Talksport 2, and then myself and Sam Parkin will bring you the whole game from Plough Lane live on Talksport 2, whilst again on Talksport they'll take you around the grounds in the other League Cup ties tomorrow night, as they're going around the grounds tonight with Adrian at the Lamex at the moment, where it is still Stevenage 1, Watford 1.
Just looking at the bench, and Alcaraz ready to come on. Russell Martin bringing on perhaps his best player, I think. I think he's a player that's really talented, a real creative force from central midfield, and it looks like he's ready.
He's the cavalry. Meanwhile, Kamarador puts the ball into the box. It just drifted away from Che Adams, and now Nadasan scrapping for possession with Lianco. Looked like he dragged him back, but that's good, strong defending from Lianco in the end.
It worries me, Lianco. He gives you a chance. If you're a centre forward, you'd chase down everything because you know there's a rick in there.
Now here's down the left-hand side, Amayor gets to the right-hand corner of the penalty area. Bree takes over, still level with the Gillingham penalty area. Southampton fans behind that goal to our right, waiting for Glenn Morris to be severely tested in this second half. Perot in the centre of the pitch. Adam tried to back heel to get Gineppo into the game, but away comes Dom Jeffries and releases Ashley Nadasan down the Gillingham left. Slides it further forward because Dom Jeffries has continued his run, and he wins a corner off James Bree, and Gillingham have got their tails up here. They lead 2-0 on Talksport 2.
Yeah, after a slow start to the second half, that goal has rejuvenated them. Having doubled their lead, all of a sudden now they've found that extra energy. What a break that was. They moved it really nicely. Nadasan's a handful, really pacey centre forward. He runs the channels superbly. He found the space again.
So a corner kick that Che Alexander spotted down where the Rainier meets the main stand here at the Priestfield. Just down to our left. Be a right-footed in-swinging corner. Only one Gillingham player in the 6-yard box. As it comes deep to the far post, Oji goes up, drops at the edge of the area. Dom Jeffries on the half volley. It's blocked by a Southampton boot. Add to Alexander on the left. Flying clearance from Joe Aribo, I think, to get it out of harm's way for Southampton. And eventually the Saints win the throw on this near side. 2-0 Gillingham.
It might have been Lianco, actually. Almost an overhead kick, wasn't it, to make the clearance. But once again, delivery into the box, causing Southampton issues. Looks like a yellow card for Jeffries as well.
Yep, kicking the ball away, I think, or preventing the free kick or the throw-in from being taken. Meanwhile, the aforementioned Carlos Alcaraz has come on for Romain Perot. That's a very attacking substitution from Russell Martin. He's taken off one of his centre-halves and brought on an attacking midfielder.
Well, that means surely Shea Charles goes to centre-back, doesn't it? That's where he's played his majority of his minutes in pre-season. It looks like that's the case.
Yep.
Looks like Shea Charles is going to go alongside Lianco at centre-back now.
Well spotted, Matt Holland, who's alongside me, Ian Danter, here tonight at Priestfield. Incidentally, we did say before kick-off, my producer Declan's reminded me, and Will, our producer back at base, that we did tip Robbie McKenzie up as a 12-1 anytime goal scorer with 888 Sport this evening. So if you did have 50p on that, good on you. Remember?
Did you?
I did not. I did not have the time. Gamble responsibly, please. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org, as always, for all the best info you need about how to gamble responsibly. 2-0 to Gillingham. Jaden Clark making tracks into the area down the left-hand side. Just couldn't quite keep the ball under control, but he still managed to find Jeffries on this near side, but he runs into Amayor. Oh, that's given away. Jaden Clark again has possession. Down the left-hand side, pulls it back to around the penalty spot, but Ethan Coleman couldn't get a touch, and Southampton desperately get it clear. Still 2-0 Gillingham.
Honestly, the energy out of possession from Gillingham has been sensational. Absolutely sensational. Here they say try and win the ball back within the first 5 seconds of giving it away. They have done that so well. Every time Southampton have got the ball, there's 3 or 4 Gillingham players sniffing around them, trying to win the ball back quickly. Kamari Doyle this time, who was trying to dribble on the edge of his box, was closed down, had the ball nicked off him, and Gillingham are on the attack again.
Long throw to come in from this near side from Shadrach Oji. Into around the left-hand corner of the box. It's headed out to the edge of the area by Southampton. Shea Adams loses out to Max Clark, but then in steps James Bree just to thump it downfield. Anywhere will do for Southampton, just to get it out of harm's way. Back with Glenn Morris, the Gillingham keeper. Long ball downfield, and Bree this time can cushion it, head back to his goalkeeper. An hour gone on Talksport 2, your home of the EFL and the Carabao Cup. And in our commentary game here, the shock is half an hour away from happening. Gillingham 2, Southampton 0. Alcaraz gets his first touch since coming on as a Southampton substitute, being hassled and harried by Ethan Coleman, who just gets a toe in and stops it. Oh, there's a bit of a shoving match between the two of them, and Alcaraz is saying to Coleman, "You had a chunk of my shirt, mate."
No, I think he said, "Do you want my shirt?" I think that's what he said. If you want my shirt, have it after the game.
Something tells me You've said that to an opponent
No,
before now.
no. I'm not like that, Dan. You know that.
Well,
I'm better than that.
And just a word between the two of them. That's good refereeing from Carl Brook.
He's done well actually tonight, referee. He's dealt well with those situations. He's given himself thinking time.
So quickly taken free kick. Kamari Doyle, one of the Southampton substitutes, plays the ball out to this near side, and Joe Aribo, who'll just leave it for Amo Amayor, this young fleet-footed right-hand sided midfielder for Southampton, who had a lot of joy in the first half. But the task for Southampton now is get the ball into the box and try and force the issue here, because they're going out of the first hurdle, last year's semi-finalists. Gineppo, left-hand corner of the Gillingham box. Too many touches and a long ball trying to get Nadesan away, but Shea Charles and Lianco are there, but Lianco goes to the ground. Oh, he's been fouled, says the referee. Nadesan thought he'd won the ball cleanly off the big Brazilian, but the referee said foul, and Matt Holland's sagely nodding his head to my right.
I think it probably was a foul, yeah. He gave him a nudge in the back, but again, Lianco just takes an age over doing it. Just get on the ball and deal with it. Give it back to your goalkeeper quickly, because he gives you a chance, and Nadesan's going to chase down everything.
Amayor just tries an effort. Ambitious it was, from 35 yards out to the right-hand side, and it sailed over the crossbar. Gillingham fans, do you believe? Do you want to ring Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy and sing about your team's performance here tonight? 2-0 up on recently Premier League and relegated Southampton. 03717 22 33 44 is the number to ring to get in touch with the Sports Bar on Talksport tonight from 10 o'clock, once all the Carabao Cup action is finished. And there's 29 ties tonight, so there's more than enough supporters to go around to make their point about their club, including you Gills fans and you Southampton fans listening to this live commentary. 03717 22 33 44. Get your point across on national radio with Jamie and Jason. 63 minutes gone. Gillingham can see the throw. Long foot in from Jaden Clark just to keep the ball away from Moussa Gineppo. And then another long foot in, and Nadesan's trying to be played through the middle again. Now, was he nudged by Shea Charles? He was. Referee spotted that. He got caught in a bit of a Southampton sandwich there, did Ashley Nadesan. Now there's an off. I'm not sure whether that was denying a clear goal scoring opportunity by Shea Charles, and Lianco was there on the cover as well. But the referee certainly wants a word with the youngster who's just moved to Southampton from Manchester City. Nadesan was looking likely to burst between the two of them through the centre there, Matt Holland.
I think Lianco probably was in a position where he would have stopped him, but he gave the referee a big decision to make. It's a foul, it's a yellow card, and I think that's the right decision from the referee. He had no need to make the challenge because Lianco was covering around him. And Nadesan's pace once again causing those two centre-backs an issue.
They look for him early, and that's what they've been trying to do whenever they've had the opportunity, Gillingham. And they're taking their time over this free kick, and there's a Southampton player stood right in front of the ball.
Well, last time they had a free kick in this position, it ended up in the back of the net.
And now the referee's telling the Southampton player, I think it's Amawell, just get away from the ball. And that's time. That is time wasting in full effect right there. A Southampton player standing a yard from the ball, stopping the free kick being taken. That's what we want cut out of the game.
I don't know why he's doing it, because they're 2-0 down anyway.
Yeah, let them get on with it, surely. 64 gone. Gillingham 2-0 up, and a free kick in the centre of the Southampton half. Alexander clips it in, headed up and out by Shea Charles, but back out to that right-hand side. It's then sent back into the centre circle for Max Clark. Clark chips the ball neatly over the top. Jaden Clark brings it down. Can he find a teammate? He's got his back to goal. Has to send it outside the area to Coleman. Now on the right-hand side. A chance for Jaden Clark to get the ball in the box. Clark just brings the ball down on his thigh. He's got Alexander out there with him. Good 1-2 at the edge of the box. McKenzie hits the ball against his own foot. Oh, did it? No, it came off a Southampton player. Corner kick to Gillingham. Great second half for the Gills. And they're still 2-0 up here, Matt Holland.
Yeah, and they're pushing hard for a third. In the last sort of 10 minutes or so, they've had Southampton on the back foot. Southampton can't get out, and it's another corner. Can they deal with this one any better?
Max Clark goes over to the corner where the Rainier meets the Medway stand to take this resulting corner. Give you more goals that have gone in elsewhere in just a moment, but let's see what this Gillingham corner can bring at the Rainier for Max Clark. Left-footed in swinger, round to the 6-yard line, headed down by Coleman, drops for McKenzie! 3-0! Robbie McKenzie's gone goal crazy at the start of this season, and Southampton, last season's semi-finalists, are crashing out at the first hurdle, and Southampton fans are already exiting the Priestfield because they're going out to League 2 Gillingham. Robbie McKenzie gets his second of the night, crashing the ball home from just over 20 yards out, and it's Gillingham 3, Southampton 0.
It's absolutely bedlam inside Priestfield. It's bedlam in the Rainham end. McKenzie's gone celebrating at that far end, in that far corner, and loads of the Gillingham fans have run down the steps and just congregated in the corner to celebrate with the Gillingham players. Another ball into the box, another first contact for Gillingham. They won the ball, I think it was Ethan Coleman, won the header again. It deflected, ricocheted to the edge of the box, and McKenzie hammers it home like an arrow into the bottom corner. Can't see Southampton getting back into it. They've hardly had a chance in this second half. Gillingham have kept them at arm's length. They've deserved this lead. They've played with real energy, real purpose, and this is a really complete performance from them.
So what Russell Martin has done, he's taken off Shea Adams and he's brought on the giant 6'7" Paul Onuachu, who had an extraordinary goal record at Genk in Belgium before he came to Southampton. He's just handing the captain's armband to Lianco, and he will take the restart, Onuachu, but a thankless task for him. He's got to try and help his teammates mount a comeback from 3-0 down, and they've almost lost possession right from the kickoff. Gillingham 3, Southampton 0, and a quarter of the game to go on Talksport 2.
Incredible, isn't it? You know, look, Russell Martin's made 11 changes. These players would have been champing at the bit, desperate to be in that first team when they played Sheffield Wednesday at the weekend. I'll come back to that in a moment.
Because Amayor is coming away down the right-hand side for Southampton. Then it's Doyle. Finds Bree, right-hand corner of the box for the Saints. But the poor pass from Bree. He had to go and retrieve his own poor pass for Doyle. At least there was good energy from James Bree there. Aribo plays the ball in field to Doyle, and he was fouled by Lapsley, and that's a free kick to Southampton. Goals elsewhere. Port Vale 2, Fleetwood 2. They equalised Vale through Josh Thomas on loan from Swansea for the season. A lot being said about that youngster. Sunderland equalised against Crewe 1-1, Chris Rigg. Fajiri Okenabir, he has got a second from the penalty spot for Cambridge, who lead 2-1 at Sutton. Newport 2-1 up against Charlton, Will Evans. Doncaster 2-1 up at Hull, George Miller. Accrington equalised against Bradford, Josh Andrews. Brandon Thomas Asante equalises for West Brom at Stoke, and then Andre Vidigal puts Stoke straight back in front. It's 4-2 Blackburn. John Buckley. Now Newport 3-1 up on Charlton. Seb Palmer Holden, and Charlie Savage has his first Reading goal. They're 3-0 up at Millwall. Here's the free kick for Southampton. James Bree into the area. Onuachu, an obvious target. He heads it down. It's only half cleared off the line, and Alcaraz tries to get the shot away from 6 yards, but Che Alexander blocks it over the bar for a Southampton corner. 3-0 to the Gills.
What a block. What a block. Look, for all the money that Alcaraz was just going to smash that home, but Alexander from nowhere dived in front of that shot and has conceded a corner, but he won't mind. He has saved his side a goal.
Breeze corner in front of the remaining Southampton fans. Comes out to the edge of the area. Volley from Kamari Doyle. It's blocked, and then poor touch from Shea Charles. Trampoline in his boot, and it went out for a Gillingham goal kick. We've got just over 20 minutes to see out what looks an unassailable scoreline on Talksport 2.
Yeah.
It's 3-0 to the League 2 team.
I was making the point about Southampton now. He made 11 changes, Russell Martin, and these players tonight would have been hoping that they were in the starting 11 against Sheffield Wednesday. More often than not, they're not in the team because they're not quite at the level. And we've seen tonight that this 11 isn't quite at the level. They've nowhere near been good enough against a really hungry, energetic Gillingham team. They can't knock on the door, knock on Russell Martin's door tomorrow and say, I should be in the team for the game against Norwich at the weekend, because not any of them have done themselves any justice.
Well, the applause you can hear whilst Matt's been speaking about the Southampton problem after a triple substitution. Scott Malone, Tom Nichols and Johnny Williams have all come on. And Ashley Nadasan, who scored the first goal, has gone off. So too has Dom Jeffries. Just looking to see who the third player is that's gone off.
I think it was George Lapsley.
Well, he was on a yellow card, so I guess that's a sensible move from his part. Give you some breaking news on Talksport in just a moment in terms of managerial change before a ball has even been kicked. The ball's been won back by Southampton deep in their own half. Wycombe Wanderers have taken the lead in the Buckinghamshire derby at MK Dons. Brandon Hanlon makes it Milton Keynes 0, Wycombe Wanderers 1. Aribo for Southampton, 3-0 down and going out of the EFL Cup with barely a whimper. One back by the recently introduced Scott Malone, and now Tom Nichols on for Nadazan gets his first involvement. Chests it down on halfway, feeds it in to Ethan Coleman. Good ball from Coleman. Jaden Clark trying to burst through the middle, gets to the edge of the area, running across the 18-yard line, tees up Nichols. Nichols thought about a shot, but instead floated it out to the right-hand side for Shea Alexander. They're all over Southampton here. And eventually the ball's won back by Alcaraz, who can bring it forward. Gets to the halfway line, slips it in field to Kamari Doyle. Amo Amayor is making a run down the right-hand side. He's fed now. Gets to the right-hand corner of the box. Again, he's got Clark backpedaling. Tries the cross, and it's blocked at the second attempt. And away comes Gillingham with the ball. And it's fed up to Tom Nichols. And he can't hold on to the ball. Lianco, who's got the captain's armband for Southampton, wins it back. Poor touch from Onuachu. He had OG at his back and Ethan Coleman picking up the pieces for the second ball. And then down goes Johnny Williams. No foul, says the referee. Johnny Esther, they used to call him when he was at Swindon Town and various other clubs, the Welsh international. I had to look up his age, actually, Matt Holland. I thought he must be, you know, I'm thinking he must be over 30 or something, or whatever he may be. But he's only 29, Johnny Williams.
He looks older than me.
I'm doing him a disservice. Not because of the way he looks, just because I think he's been around forever. Ball clipped down the left-hand side of the box, but it's going to be claimed by Glenn Morris. Let me give you this breaking news. Wolverhampton Wanderers have just announced that the club and Julian Lopetegui have reached an agreement to part ways, ending his 9-month stay as head coach. Now, we've got Wolves' first 2 games away to Manchester United on the Monday Night Football live on Talksport, and our Talksport 2 commentary next Saturday afternoon, a week on Saturday the 19th, home to Brighton and Hove Albion. That will be a commentary game I'll be at for Talksport 2 on Saturday the 19th. As well as Lopetegui, his backroom staff will also leave the club. Lopetegui has said in a quote, "I wish Wolves and everybody at the club the very best of luck for the future and thank them for the opportunity granted for me to take charge of this wonderful club." And our chief football correspondent Alex Crook was saying just the other day that Gary O'Neill was the firm favourite, was Lopetegui to walk away, and that appears to be most definitely the line coming out of Wolverhampton Wanderers this evening, according to Alex Crook, that Gary O'Neill is a firm favourite to be the new manager. Your thoughts quickly on that, Matt Holland, before we get back to the commentary?
Well, my thoughts are that Wolves have been so quiet in the transfer market, and Lopetegui has clearly been very unhappy with that. And we've seen it in the past, managers leave just before the season, just very close into the season, because they've not been happy with the transfer dealings of a club. And I think Lopetegui is in that position where, you know, he's lost some key players and they've not been replaced, and he feels as though his squad's bare going into a Premier League season, and all he can see is a struggle this year. So that's the reason why he's decided to depart.
More on that with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy, I'm sure, in the sports bar from 10 o'clock tonight over on Talksport. Any Wolves fans listening to this, get your calls in about what you feel about. I think Lopetegui felt his hands were tied. 03717 223344. 15 minutes to go. Gillingham 3, Southampton 0 if you're just tuning in. Yeah, I'll say that again. Gillingham 3, Southampton 0. But it is not a freak scoreline in terms of it's not a case of Southampton being all over Gillingham and they've been caught with a sucker punch. It's been quite the opposite, Matt Holland.
Yes, indeed. Very impressive. The home team. Excellent performance. Deserved to be ahead. Didn't quite catch the attendance, but it was over 7,000.
Yeah,
I know that. It was 7,000 and something. So good turnout at Priestfield, and they've enjoyed their team's performance. They've been excellent.
I guess the question on most Gillingham fans' lips now will be, can they follow this up on Saturday against Accrington Stanley and make it 3 wins from 3 in all competitions and get this season off to the best possible start? You were very close with that attendance. 7,775.
I heard 7.
Well, there you go. 7,775. Producer Dex just told me, and 1,775 of those have come from Southampton, but a good number of those have already got back in the coaches or their cars to head back.
So if I do the maths, that's exactly 6,000 Gillingham fans.
Yeah, how about that? Your maths is not let you down. We'll get you on darts commentary yet, Matt Holland.
Honestly,
you're that good at subtraction. Meanwhile, James Breed just taken a chunk.
Perhaps I'll get Rachel Riley's job.
It's not beyond you.
Well, there you go. A in maths.
Well, we're counting down to full time. 13 minutes left. And Gillingham, well,
yellow card for Lianco.
Another yellow card, and that for a fairly strong challenge in midfield, which has led to a Gillingham free kick. Pretty much at the midway point of the half, at about 10 yards in from this near touchline. Played short to Johnny Williams. Infield it goes to Coleman, back to Williams, and he just rolls it back to Shea Alexander. Early ball out to the right hand side. Aymer finds Oji in the right wing position. What's he doing there, Shadrach Oji? Can't go past his man, and it goes out of play in the end.
He wasn't quite sure what he was doing there either, was he?
No.
Faced with the defender, didn't quite know what to do with the ball. Ran it out of play.
But we also credit Oji for setting up that second goal.
Oh, it's not his job, is it? No. Right wing.
But at the left side of the centre-half, he's only young, Shadrach Oji, having come from the title winners Leyton Orient in the summer. Just 21. Came over from Ireland a couple of years ago. He is a Republic of Ireland youth player, Shadrach Oji. I imagine there'll be a few of the Republic of Ireland scouts looking at him and feeding back to the management team about his progress.
Just thinking as well, Lopetegui. Wolves have got Man United away on Talksport on Monday.
Yeah.
Wow. Man United invested in their squad.
Although I don't think the new signing Hoyland's going to be available for a while, is it?
No, a couple of weeks, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, that's live on Monday on Talksport with Adrian as part of our coverage, hosting from Old Trafford from 6 p.m. on Talksport. All the build-up, all the weekend's football analysed the very best possible way with Adrian and the team, and then full commentary on Manchester United against managerless, for the moment at least, Wolverhampton Wanderers. And more news from the EFL in the last hour. Leeds United have just confirmed injuries for captain Liam Cooper. He injured himself in getting Leeds' goal, one of Leeds' 2 goals on Sunday in their 2-2 draw with Cardiff. And Crescencio Somerville also injured. They're ruled out for several weeks. They're at Birmingham on Saturday. Just thought I'd mention that. Might give us half a chance. I think the last time we played Leeds, I think it ended up 5-4 to Leeds just after Christmas a few years ago at St Andrews. It was a thrilling game. I think Luke Ayling got the winner. Swansea have beaten Northampton. They're through to the next round of the Carabao Cup. Gillingham are 3-0 up here as well. And down the left-hand side, Scott Malone digs out a lovely cross. Volley towards goal. Brilliant save, McCarthy. Tom Nichols wanted a 4th goal for Gillingham, but Alex McCarthy had other ideas. Lovely move from Gillingham, though. Stays 3-0.
They're playing all the football. They've been excellent.
I'll tell you what, Scott Malone, I remember coming through as a youngster at Wolverhampton Wanderers, the club we were just talking about, dug out a super cross there.
Southampton need to be careful here because the frustration is starting to boil over.
Yeah.
Swing Lianco going to a heavy challenge. Alcaraz has just done something similar. Russell Martin just telling his players to calm down. The 3-0 down, it looks like they're going out of the competition. Don't get anyone sent off as well now. Keep your heads. That's the message from Russell Martin.
So problems for Wolves without a manager, problems for Leeds without several first-team players. Leeds are playing Shrewsbury in the Carabao Cup tomorrow night. More ties. Adrian back on air here on Talksport 2 from 6 p.m. with all the build-up. And then our commentary tomorrow night, I'll be with Sam Parkin at Plough Lane to watch two of his former clubs, AFC Wimbledon and Coventry City Lockhorn. So another game between League 2 and Championship. And this one between League 2 and Championship has been largely one-way traffic all the way of the League 2 side. Oh, Johnny Williams, lovely skill in the middle of the tunnel, and he tries one trick too many and loses possession. But then Oji steps in to win it back on halfway, and here comes Gillingham again, driven out to Scott Malone on this near side, the left. Southampton trying to shovel back into position. Williams, they're cheering every pass, and then as soon as they say that, Williams gives the ball away. I think the Gillingham fans were preparing to do the Olays. Now Alcaraz in the centre circle. Oh, he falls over and just presents the ball to the 2-goal hero. The man is on a hat-trick, Robbie McKenzie. Nichols finds McKenzie. They are cheering every pass. Out to the right-hand side. Jaden Clark gets to the right-hand corner of the box, lays it off to Alexander, cross to the far post. Williams, the smallest player on the pitch, tried to head it goalwards, and it skimmed off the top of his head. And in the end, it's a free kick to Southampton, 3-0 Gillingham.
Just listen to that applause for this Gillingham team, and they deserve it because they've been brilliant in every facet of the game. With the ball, they've been great. The movement, the passing, the energy. Without the ball, they've been sensational, because Southampton are a team that want the ball, they want possession, they want to pass it around. We saw it against Sheffield Wednesday and how good they were. I know they've made 11 changes, but they're still a team that want to try and play. Well, Gillingham, without the ball, have closed them down so well. And brilliant with the ball, even better without it.
That's Matt Holland, former Ipswich and Republic of Ireland midfielder, alongside me, Ian Danton. We've got a break in play because I think it's Shay Charles who's getting some treatment, is it? Over on the far side, or is it Jaden McComber? It is Gillingham 3, Southampton 0. Blackburn 4, Walsall 3. Walsall get a goal back through Ronan Mayo with 5 minutes to go at Ewood Park. Exeter in front against Crawley. 2-1 they lead at St James's Park. James Scott. Harry Buterman scored a penalty for Sutton. They're level with Cambridge United. Wickham are 2-0 up at MK Dons through Christian Perino Joseph. And Portsmouth 3-1 up at Forest Green. Kusinu Yengi gets another goal for Pompey. What sort of parallel universe are we living in when Johnny Williams is going up for a header at the far post from a cross?
Brilliant. A substitution as well for Gillingham. Jaden Clark just coming off to an unbelievable reception.
Well, he's just been given the Man of the Match award, I believe.
Yeah, he's been brilliant. He has been brilliant. So tricky.
And on in his place has come Joe Gabode, who's a youngster himself, just 18 years of age, coming through the Gillingham Academy. He had dual registration last season with Hastings United, not too far from here. Yet to score a senior goal. He is a striker, and he's a decent old unit. They're having to bring on another change here. Tyler J. Dibbling, another academy youngster for Southampton, is having to come on.
It's Magoma, I think.
Yeah, he's going out to the left-hand side of midfield for Southampton is Tyler J. Dibbling, because McComber on his first appearance for the senior side has just picked up a knock and is being led round behind the goal. We're back underway. Gillingham 3-0 up with just over 5 minutes to go. Their tails most definitely up. Ball toe pokes out of play by Max Clark. And a throw to Southampton. Southampton are at home to Norwich at the weekend. That's a decent game in the Championship.
We're going to say that every week in the Championship, because I think it's the strongest Championship we've ever seen. Honestly, with the teams that have gone down, the teams that have come up, the teams that you thought should have done better last season, like Norwich, like West Brom. That Middlesbrough went close last year. I think it's the toughest division that I've ever seen in the Championship.
Without question. without question. I know they say it every year, but I think we can truly say it with evidence to back that up this year. Plenty of evidence. And remember, loads of Championship commentaries. I'll actually be at the Coventry Building Society Arena Saturday lunchtime as part of Game Day. This will be on the Talksport app for the first half. Got so much live football for you on Saturday. We've got the Lionesses against Columbia on Talksport 2. Our coverage starts at 11. Game Day on Talksport comes from the Emirates. Arsenal against Nottingham Forest is our lunchtime offering from the Premier League. Notwithstanding the fact that we start the season on Friday night with Burnley against Manchester City on Talksport. And then at 3 o'clock, Bournemouth against West Ham is the Talksport 2 Premier League game with Nigel Adderley and Perry Groves. But I'll be with David Nugent at the Coventry Building Society Arena. Coventry Middlesbrough, 12:30. We'll start on the app and then move to Talksport 2 in the second half. I did the two semi-final legs of the playoffs between those two sides, and the first game might well have been 0-0 at the Coventry Building Society Arena, but what a match. Best 0-0 draw I've ever seen.
Well, I did Luton Sunderland. That was a really good game as well.
Good skill from Doyle for Southampton as they try and get a consolation goal at least, but Amayor's taken out by Max Amer. I think that's going to be a yellow card for the Gillingham number 5.
Well, he can hold his head up. Amayor, he's been excellent, hasn't he, for Southampton? His first pro contract and excellent in pre-season. He's carried that form into this game as well, despite his team being on the end a bit of a hammering. He's been impressive.
He's probably been the only one out there that's given a yellow card for Russell Martin for too much backchat to the referee. I don't know whether he thought there should have been a more severe punishment for Amer for that challenge, but he got a yellow card.
It's actually to the fourth official, I think, the backchat. He's been giving him some stick. There's a ball that went out a moment ago, which he didn't. Well, the fourth official thought it was out. He didn't. Made his feelings clear. He's doing it again now. He needs to be careful. He's just been booked.
Down the right-hand side, Amayor up against Max Clark, and Clark gets a foot in. But I think I was about to say Amayor's probably the only one out there who might have given Russell Martin food for thought with regard to at least the squad.
Yeah,
on Saturday, if not necessarily the starting lineup.
No, I'd agree with that. Magoma did okay as a youngster, didn't he, at left back as well?
Yep.
But
he's picked up a knock clearly.
Amayor, definitely their best player.
Millwall 0, Reading 4. What a night for the Royals in South London. Mamadi Camara, Ruben Sellers getting a tune out of his players early doors. Millwall 0, Reading 4. Here comes Southampton trying to get a goal back, and they have one back through Carlos Alcaraz, who turned at the edge of the area and fired low past Alex McCarthy. It would appear to be nothing more than a consolation. Alcaraz is dashing back to the halfway line and hoping, presumably, the referee adds on 13 minutes at the end of the game. He may not, but it is Gillingham 3, Southampton 1.
We'd expect a fair bit of added time, wouldn't we? So you can understand why Alcaraz has rushed back to try and get Gillingham underway quickly. And talk about Amayor being the one that's giving him a headache. Alcaraz is a good player as well, isn't he? I know he hasn't played his best since he's come on, but he's, I think, really creative and a top player for them, and he's a really good finish as well into the bottom corner. Yeah, real accuracy with the effort.
Yeah, first time Glenn Morris has been beaten this evening, or had really been fully extended, and he saw the ball drift past him into the bottom corner. But there's not many Southampton fans here to see that go in. Quite a few have departed the Priestfield for their cars and coaches to head back home. Alcaraz gives the ball back to Shea Charles at centre half. Now it's Alcaraz again, finding James Bree, still inside his own half. We're about to find out how much added time there will be at the end of the 90. OG clears for Gillingham. Malone gets a foot in just to keep it away from James Bree. And here comes the board. 7 minutes. We're into that now. So, all right, not 13 minutes, but 7's a fair old chunk of added time.
Feels about right, that, I would say.
Well, we've had a number of substitutions, which you presumably allow 30 seconds or so for each one.
Yep.
And goal celebrations.
Yep. And we've had a few of those as well.
3-1 to Gillingham as we're into that 7 minutes of added time. Edge of the area, Southampton trying to get a second and set up a grandstand finish here. James Bree, right-hand corner of the box, teases the ball to the far post, headed up and out for a goal kick to Gillingham. And I think Glenn Morris is being told by the referee, don't time waste this goal kick, get on with the game. 3-1 Gillingham.
Well, he spotted it down quite quickly. So there's no point, is there? Because as you say, he'll only add it on anyway.
Yeah.
So you might as well just take it.
It was Dibbling who had the header that went over the bar, the academy substitute who came on for the injured Makoma for Southampton. Lianco, he half heads clear, under pressure from Gabode, but away comes Doyle with the ball for Southampton in the centre circle. Amoyo wants it on this near side, but Aribo takes over.
He had a kick out at Lianco, Gabode.
Now here's Aribo, right-hand corner of the box, faced up by two opponents. Amoyor is on the overlap, trying to check onto his favoured left foot maybe and get a cross in. Max Slot holding him up, rolls it back to the edge of the area. Gineppo tries to tee up Doyle for Southampton. Amoyor again, right-hand corner of the box, just moves into the penalty area, down towards the byline, twists away from a couple of challenges, doesn't deliver the cross, rolls it back to Shea Charles. Alcaraz loses out, anywhere will do for Gillingham, and Shea Alexander just puts a tired ball downfield and drifts out of play for a throw to Southampton. 3-1 Gillingham.
All hands on deck now for Gillingham. Everyone behind the ball, just trying to see this out. What, we've got 5 left. There's some tired legs out there. They put a lot into this game, and now they're just not hanging on, but they're certainly sitting in.
Gillingham 3, Southampton 1. We've played a couple of minutes of the 7 that have been added on at the end of the 90. And one thing different this year, they do indicate on the scoreboard that we have gone past 90. The clock doesn't stop at 90 minutes anymore, so supporters know how much stoppage time has elapsed when they didn't before, unless they had a stopwatch running like we do. Here's Amoyor for Southampton, midway point of the Gillingham half. Well, there's a foul on Alcaraz. Scott Malone brought him down. Now Southampton have got an interesting free kick position here. Go how they could do with James Ward-Prowse on the pitch at this moment, but it's to the right of centre, about 25 yards out.
Suits a left footer really, rather than the right, but it's Alcaraz that looks like he's taking control of this. He's got the ball in hand, just about to spot it.
Indeed, Alcaraz probably pulling rank over Samuel Amoyor, who is the left-footed player and might fancy having a crack at goal here. There's a 3-man Gillingham wall, about level with the penalty spot, on the left-hand side of their penalty area. Alcaraz and Amoyor standing over it. Which one goes for goal? It's Alcaraz who goes for goal and hits the side netting. Trying to get a second of the night and force a grandstand finish, but it's a goal kick, and again the referee looks straight at Glenn Morris and says, get that ball back in play quickly please. Sheffield Wednesday have equalised in the 7th minute of added time against Stockport County to force penalties, it would seem. Tyreek Backinson, once of Bristol City, makes it Sheffield Wednesday 1, Stockport 1. Goal kick taken by Glenn Morris of Gillingham, drills it downfield. Gillingham about 4 minutes or so away from a famous cup shot to rival some of their other cup exploits of recent times, including that win on penalties at Brentford last season that got them through to round 4. They lost at Wolves in round 4. Wolves who've seen their manager walk out on the club tonight, if you just tuned in. Julian Lopetegui has left Wolverhampton Wanderers as their manager. More in the sports bar from 10 o'clock over on Talksport. And Gillingham fans, why not give Jason Cundy and Jamie O'Hara the benefit of you having viewed this game and tell them just how good the Gills were. 03717 223344. 3-1 in stoppage time. Amoyor again one-on-one with Max Clark, but Clark, who he settled into that battle with the youngster and put his foot in again and won it back. Then Doyle loses out. Alcaraz gets a foot in, but OG lets the ball run across his body, lets the ball roll back to his keeper. Blackpool have beaten Derby at Pride Park in that All-League One tie. Harrogate have beaten Carlisle. So that's League 2 beaten League 1. Carlisle, of course, promoted under Paul Simpson last year. Good win for Simon Weaver's men at Wetherby Road. Southampton coming forward with Tyler J. Dibbling down the left-hand side. Does he want a corner? No, it's a throw. 5 minutes of the minimum 7 have gone. 3-1 to Gillingham.
Yeah, it is going to be a shot. I mean, Southampton, of course, semi-finalists of this competition last year, got beat by Newcastle. Just shows how good a performance this has been from Gillingham. Despite the fact that Southampton have made 11 changes, it's still a strong team that Russell Martin was able to select. But Gillingham have been far the better side over the course of the 90-odd minutes.
Southampton in possession with Lianco. Drills a lovely diagonal ball downfield, down this right-hand side for Amo Amayor. Again, he's taken on Max Clark. Comes in field, tries a shot, it's deflected away from goal. Has another drive, deflected by Onuachu and saved by Glenn Morris right in front of goal. That could have gone anywhere off a deflection off the giant Onuachu, but it actually worked in the Gillingham keeper's favour. 3-1.
Yeah, and that's just about it, isn't it? We're 96, time running towards 97. Time at a premium for Southampton. That had to go in. It didn't, and there's no time, you feel, to score the 2 goals that they require to take this to penalties.
Another drill ball downfield by Lianco, but too long, too straight, 2 bounces, and it's straight through to Glenn Morris. Stoke have beaten West Brom 2-1 in the Carabao Cup, and Ian Everett's beaten his old side. Bolton go through at the expense of Barrow. Port Vale beat Fleetwood 3-2, banishing the memories of that 7-0 defeat to Barnsley in the league on Saturday. Port Vale. At the end of this game, Southampton have the ball where they least want it, in their own defensive third. And there goes the full-time whistle. League 2 Gillingham have knocked out Championship Southampton. Neil Harris said before the game, don't expect a lot from us tonight, we won't see much of the ball. Well, they didn't. They only had about 27% of possession, but what they had, my word, how they made it count. They win 3-1. Ashley Nadazan, as early as the 12th minute, had them in front, steering home Ethan Coleman's cross from the left. That was the score at half-time. And then Robbie McKenzie made it 3 goals for the season in total, following up his winner at Stockport with 2 goals either side of the hour. The third, just after the 3-quarter mark of the game, crashed home from the edge of the area. A late consolation from Carlos Alcaraz for a Southampton side who made 11 changes from their win at Sheffield Wednesday, and they played like a team of strangers. Gillingham through to round 2 with the shock of the night in the Carabao Cup, and we brought it to you live on Talksport 2. Gillingham 3, Southampton 1. Matt Holland.
What a brilliant night for Gillingham. What a brilliant 2023 it has been. Second half of the season last year, absolutely superb. Took them away from danger after a terrible first half of the season. This season's got off to an absolute flyer. A winner, much fancied Stockport. A resolute defensive second half performance got them the points there. Tonight, well, I can't speak highly enough of this performance. Yes, Russell Martin made 11 changes, but Southampton still selected a strong side. But this Gillingham team, right from the first whistle, got in Southampton's faces, didn't give them a minute's peace. Their movement, their energy, their commitment, their desire was streets ahead of Southampton, and they thoroughly deserved this victory. Neil Harris enjoying it at the Raynham end, and why wouldn't he? A really fantastic performance from Gillingham, thoroughly deserved victory.
You'll hear from Neil Harris on the Sports Bar. I'll go and have to chat with him in a moment, and you'll hear that during the course of the Sports Bar with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. Gillingham and Southampton fans, 03717 223344 is the number you need to make your point heard on national radio about what you've seen and heard tonight. Matt, thank you as always for being part of the team. Matt Holland's been part of our commentary team tonight. Now, coming up on Talksport 2 at 10 p.m, it's the Women's World Cup show with Faye Carruthers. But for now, let's rejoin Adrian Durham and Talksport and all our reporters across the country as we go round the grounds with all the penalties and the drama in the first round of the Carabao Cup. But the final score here at the Priestfield, Gillingham 3, Southampton 1.
Way.